Light them up.
All right.
Yeah, that's good. Oh, yeah. Bottle cap hit Steve in the
You did.
Yeah.
Right in the dig.
There you go. So here we are. We are now episode 292, right?
292?
292.
Holy
We're getting dangerously close to 300.
Yeah. Do we get to have like CGI abs and stuff and wear kilts and be like 300?
300! Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
I think we got a
lot of
pizza
CGI
party.
there.
Yes, that'd be a lot. And we could kick somebody into a big hole.
Yeah.
Or not. So I did want to call attention to the fact that we're doing it, again,
Outside.
never the same podcast twice.
No.
Nope. So we're doing it outside, but with the aid of graphic video aids.
Yes.
Right? Remember, for all of our podcast attendees, you got to deep throat it today. Today's the day that you got to get up and personal because there's so much ambient noise out here.
There is.
So if you want to talk, lean in and make it count.
I'll make my processors work overtime to take a lot of it out.
Yeah.
But it is, I mean, listen, as much as we love doing this for all the guys, we have to enjoy ourselves too.
Absolutely.
And how much in Cleveland do we get this weather?
No. This is what we call San Diego light.
Without fires.
Enjoy the weather. You get 5 of these a year. 5 of these a year.
For all the COVID that's been going around, the weather certainly has been great. I don't know what
this has been the year for weather.
The earth is healing.
You're right.
Yeah,
and that's
you're right.
exactly it. So no COVID, no
cut down on the traffic.
Nobody's
CO2 levels are going down.
Everything's gone way down. And you know what it's turning into? Cleveland's turning into the best place to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it is.
I think I've been outside more than I have in the past 20 or 25 years this year.
I totally agree. And it's, for me, I've been able to get down to the lake and use my kayak and use my canoe and stuff. And every Sunday we try to do something but the other side of that is working here. Our fucking Mondays through Saturdays is madness.
I love the fact that you guys are closed on Mondays.
Right.
Because you usually travel.
I'm picking up and delivering bikes. Yeah. So I'm literally.
Somebody was like, well, if you were smart, you'd be open 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 372 days a year.
Seems stupid to be closed on Sunday and Monday.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, if you're new to the game, motorcycle shops are always closed on Sunday and Monday or closed on Sunday and Wednesday if they hate their staff.
Right.
Okay. But that's been the way it's been since I was a little kid. And Sunday and Monday is basically so we can be open on Saturday. Mm-hmm. Get your shit out of the way. Do your buy-in on Saturday. Mm-hmm. You know, you're not at work because you work a normal person job. And then Sunday is the day you go ride.
Right.
So don't go to the motorcycle shop on Sunday. You're supposed to be riding, people.
Right.
And then Saturday's the day you do your shopping and get your supplies for Sunday.
So people that don't own a motorcycle, you buy them before Sunday.
Right.
And then you ride them
on Sunday.
Right.
And you pick your bike up from the service department on Saturday. Right. So you can ride it on Sunday.
Because everybody, the guy that worked on your bike is riding on Sunday.
Yeah, I hope
that works out good though, because if it doesn't turn out well, they can't bring it back on Monday. They have to wait till Tuesday.
That's a good point. And that's why Tuesdays are psychotic around here. So since COVID, so what has happened is, historically speaking, Tuesdays we're selling a lot of parts and doing work on a lot of bikes because people broke shit on Sunday, right? And Monday they festered on it. Tuesday they show up at the door proper pissed off. So we work on the bikes Tuesday, Wednesday, the whole thing. But what's weird is we are now selling more bikes on a Tuesday than we ever did on a Saturday. Our Saturdays now have chilled the fuck out because people aren't going to the traditional job thing. People are spending time with their families on that, Friday, Saturday, Sunday thing.
God forbid anybody should be working from home but be here buying a bike.
I know. Yeah. So it is strange. So we've been tracking our sales since coronavirus started in March. And it's been funny that our Tuesdays have been much stronger than our Saturdays. Historically. Like, it's really kind of crazy.
Because people are literally being paid to buy motorcycles.
Yes, they are. Yeah, absolutely.
Have you had somebody come in with their laptop and their cell phone and everything? Like,
when
look, I'm still on
off the clock. They're not here. Yeah, they're somewhere else. So it's really funny. So that's been a really crazy thing here at the shop. The other thing that's been funny is we have just had to get very hard and fast on the mask rule and everything else. We're doing that, but we're still selling bikes and it's working great. But we joked in other podcasts about like these absolute shitbox bikes that are getting dragged out of the basement or out of the barn or whatever. The number of bikes that we have brought in that have not run in 5 years is staggering. Like, it's almost impossible, the number of machines that have come in here that have not fired a shot in anger in over 5 years. It's crazy. So totally a different thing, totally weird for us. But craziest summer ever. And that being said, I'm really looking forward to October, like settling this whole thing down. And I love it when the guys are wearing the cut vest, the giant cut vest, and then shorts and flip-flops.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that's, yeah.
It's been like spring all summer long.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It has been like spring all summer long.
Instead of squids, they should call them spuds.
They are spuds. Potato, 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 potato. Yeah.
Maybe we should go around the table and introduce ourselves.
Yep. We're going to go to my left as soon as Dan gets done constabulating. So, Dan, you brought a camera. What has a video projector built into it?
A phone that, I mean, it actually
Sorry, right.
just slaps on.
Oh, it does?
They separate, yeah. I mean, that's my phone.
That's your phone.
And then you just set it on top of the video projector.
So it has a video projector backpack.
That's what we used for our speakerphone last week, too. It's a separate
sounds
tablet.
great.
It sounded fucking
it did sound
great,
awesome.
man.
Yeah, it did.
I hope the dude from Janice is happy because
I have not done a follow-up phone call with him yet, but I would hope he
Chris is supposed to send links to him this week.
Yeah.
But he can't be sad about that. It was a great interview. You did a great job. The guy responded well.
I think he was a fantastic interview. So thanks, Rich. I really appreciate that. That was cool. So,
Dan Kromke.
Oh, yeah. Who's he?
And what did you ride today?
My Triumph.
The Triumph, yeah. Putting the miles on the Triumph.
I rode all afternoon, went home, had dinner, grabbed my stuff, and came and rode here.
Nice. And then to your left,
Steve Hoffert.
again on a barrel of monkeys.
And I put 900 miles on that on my vacation. So.
Nice.
I was going to say, I didn't think you were going to be here, but yet here you are.
Yeah, I had some issues. I had to come back from vacation, but it's all right.
We're happy about
We're
this.
happy you're here.
Yeah.
Well, I'm telling you, up in New York's like heaven.
Yeah.
I'd rather be there.
Much rather be there. Yeah.
But I'm glad I'm here.
Well, we're glad you're here too, goddammit.
Yep.
Did you take the monkey up in your car? Like, how do you
I threw it
transport?
in the back of my pickup.
Oh, yeah,
it's
you
real
took the
easy
pickup
to
up.
roll up.
Because you
on
got the new pickup, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, perfect.
I was going to take the dump truck, which I'm going to in 2 weeks when I go back.
Because you're going to take the dump truck all the way to Speculator.
Yeah, because I have to tear out a deck.
Oh, okay. So you'll really need the dump truck there.
Right, we're resetting that. We have a seawall, so we have to reset the seawall.
Okay.
And we're tearing out the deck and we're putting in a screened-in porch because on one half of the deck, and like a canopy over the other because the bugs,
black flies, man.
The black flies in June, and then the mosquitoes like at dusk. I mean, there's amazing amount of bugs up there. But then at night, at 11 o'clock or 12 in the morning, I was taking pictures of the stars like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
So
I saw some of those. That's amazing.
Like you can see the Milky Way.
Yeah.
The one night they had lightning over the mountains and the star, like all the clouds were gone. So I could take pictures of the stars, but then the mountains are all lit up because of the lightning behind the mountains.
Wow.
So it was a great trip.
That's fantastic.
I drank way too much though.
Well, that's what you do when you're on
But let me ask you, did you feel really small? Like when you see all that?
I always feel like I'm nothing. So.
Yeah. All right.
But the thing is, when you look here, like when you're in the city, you see like 20 stars in the sky. Yeah. When you go there, you take a picture.
Oh, it's crazy.
You see a white splotch in the sky. Yeah. Well, I have a telescope. I mean, I have a good telescope too. So you take your telescope and it's I don't know how much of the sky you really see with it.
Right.
It's a tiny, tiny, minuscule part of the sky, but in just the vision of that telescope,
right.
You cannot count,
the
number of stars there are in your vision. So, I mean, if you ever go into the desert, people need to get out where it's dark and see that there are probably 1 trillion stars out there. I mean, there's more. There are more stars than the national debt.
Well, it actually turns out that you don't have to go out into the desert because after you sent that picture, I forwarded it to my wife and daughter.
Right.
Because Piper kind of is a stargazer and has always lamented light pollution.
Light pollution, yeah.
And so I started looking at because I know Dan has talked about dark spots and stuff, places where you can go.
Right.
And one of the things that I was able to Google is east of Chardon is one of 8 international dark spots in the USA.
Interesting.
Really?
And so what it is it's a park out there. It's an observatory park.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
And what they have done is they've done everything they can to all the businesses and residences in the area to turn down the light pollution. So, and it's really just as simple as putting shades on any lights you have so no light goes up, it all goes down.
Okay.
And it also more efficiently lights the ground and what you need to see because you're keeping it from escaping it into the sky.
Wow, that's
so
cool.
we definitely want to try to go out there some night and see what's up.
Check that. Yeah.
I'll definitely. I mean, I'd like to go out there myself.
Yeah, me too.
I know you went to the to look at the what was that, the comet? Or were you able to see it?
No, I never saw it. We were too late or too early or it wasn't good. We never actually saw that, but we tried.
Did you do any riding today? Nope.
So who is letting?
Did I do any riding this week?
Nope.
Who is to the right of the sewer guy?
Johnny Mac.
Okay.
I don't ride motorcycles anymore.
Have you had anybody try to buy your Vespa?
No.
No.
I had a couple people try. The 2 phone calls that I got or text messages I got were out-of-state zip code things that I just was like, nope.
Do you have
How much you want for it?
$2,000.
Okay.
Is it on Facebook Marketplace?
But we could certainly talk amongst us. It would not be $2,000.
Is it on Facebook?
It is not on Facebook Marketplace. A good friend of mine told me, like, you got to put it on Marketplace.
I tried to tell you, man.
Well,
I put it on Craigslist because at the time there were 2 other ones out there.
Right.
And one was like $2,600. Another one was $1,800 with a blown out starter. And
But I'm
everything.
telling you, I put a bike on Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace. I had 1 hit on Craigslist and 47 hits on Facebook Marketplace.
It's absolutely true.
That's the way to go.
Honestly, Craigslist these days is just like dealerships putting up ads.
You're right.
Or old men that are like, I will take $4,700 for this broken thing.
And I paid $5, which I would not have had to pay on Marketplace.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. That's true. So
I don't know. It's just one of those things where I'm like, I got to do something. And I don't even know if that's the bike I necessarily want to sell, but it's one that's running and could be sold. So
It's easy to sell. Yeah.
Let's get it out there. But
Go to Facebook Marketplace. You'll never get so many messages into your Facebook Messenger.
I see you're
that
asking
says-
$2,700. Would you take 50?
No, not even that.
Not even that.
It's is this still available?
The one button laziest answer ever. It's the one button press. It's almost worth deleting all of those people.
Right.
Because
well,
there's no
if I was going to
creativity
do, and I've even read, I've been to Facebook Marketplace, and it's like, respond with a phone number, and it's and that's how I wrote my Craigslist ad. Contact me to make arrangements to come see it.
Right. Yep. That's what it is. So to his left,
Nick Divitto.
what did you ride tonight?
I rode a Hyundai Veloster N.
2027 or something? What is it?
Right. It's from the future.
It came back.
It's a pretty car, man.
Yeah,
It
I'm
certainly
gorgeous.
is.
I'm happy with it so far.
Did anything happen when you hit 88 mile an hour?
No,
but
I
here's
have a
the
question about it too.
Hold on, but before you start, here's the best part about Nick. Nick buys a car, 5 days ago, 4 days ago?
Yeah.
Okay. And he shows up today and he goes, I'll be autocrossing next weekend.
On Sunday.
Well, yeah. You gotta test it out.
I'm going to autocross this in 2 days. Yeah.
Well, I was asking him if he broke it in yet. He says it has not been broken in.
No.
Yeah.
Not with his girlfriend, not with another girl, or even by
It's
himself.
not been romantically broken in.
No.
So what was causing? I mean, not causing, but I heard 2 distinct different sounds come out of it when you revved it. What made the sound change? So
Oh, yeah. All right, go ahead.
No, you go.
Oh, it has like a flap in the exhaust, so it either silences it or does not.
Okay.
It has snuffer knots.
Does have snuffer nuts. Yep.
So you can, based on whether in normal mode or their N performance mode,
Right.
It's either loud or
it's N
not.
for noisy.
Yeah.
It has the bangs, it has the spool up the turbo and then let off the throttle and it bang, 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 bang.
Yep.
Yeah.
It makes those noises.
From the
It
factory.
makes all the pops.
It makes all the pops. Makes all the noises.
Enjoy that. It's only going to last for about, 10,000, 20,000 miles before that gets stuck.
But that being said, it's a new body style.
Right.
The exhaust is no longer in the middle, and it's a very sexy looking,
It's a real
nice
sexy
car.
Yeah.
Yeah, to keep that working, just use it a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Keep it moving. That's a good idea.
No, I'm happy. I'm happy so far. Yep.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Do you want it to get stuck open or do you want it to get stuck closed?
Well, open, of course.
Yeah.
The shocking thing to me was that they agreed to take your Fiat, your Cinquecento.
Yeah.
Like the fact that they agreed to take your Cinquecento just means that nobody even looked at it.
Well, this is 29,000 without a trade-in. It's 29,000. No, 300 with a trade-in.
Right.
Yeah.
What are we going to have to cost to take this down to the dump?
Well, here's the thing is because of COVID, all of the negotiations happened over email.
Right, yeah.
So they asked me what my trade-in was. I said it was a 2013 Fiat 500.
Pristine.
Oh, absolutely.
Never raced.
They said, okay, that's great. Send me some photos.
Never had the motor fall out of it. Yep.
That's the best way to buy a car. I mean, we bought one of my wife's cars over the phone when we were in Wisconsin from the dealership that we use here, and it was awesome.
So and it is a new car, so it's not like you got, I really should go look at it first. I mean, it's a new car. I'm assuming it has a warranty and stuff like that, so... Right.
And I did get to test drive it first, but they asked for the photos. They asked how many miles were on the Fiat,
right.
and that was about it. And they said, okay, we can offer you $2,000 for it. And I'm like,
Suckers.
all right, perfect.
Yeah. That's it. Congratulations on your Fiat.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah. You don't know you could have offered me 500 and I would have taken it.
But you drove it in.
Was offering
I did drive it in. And honestly, it felt fantastic.
Really?
And somebody will drive it away.
Yep, I fixed it enough that I fell back in love with the Fiat.
Fixed it enough.
So
exactly how far do I have to fix this car to fall back in love with it?
Right.
Yep.
More importantly, how much do I need to fix it to trade it in?
Yes, that's exactly right.
That's a more important question.
I can tell you that from trading in my one Volvo one time, all you need is one gear on an automatic transmission and you can still trade the car.
Totally make it there. Yep.
Drive it home.
Yep.
Man, this was Ganley West Side though, so I had to drive it all the way up to Cleveland, and I was honestly nervous. I didn't know.
No shit.
Well, considering like the last 3 times you drove it,
Considering that when my wife and I traded in our Fiat for our Hyundai, we stopped twice on the way to the dealership to make sure that the head gasket problem wouldn't pop up accidentally. You know?
Don't let it warm up.
No, we were like, okay, it's been 20 minutes. Shut it off. Because we had to do the opposite. We had to go all the way over to the east side to trade in that car to get the Hyundai we bought. So ours, of course, is an Elantra. Nothing at all remotely like the Veloster. Yeah.
Well, they have the Elantra N now.
Well, my Elantra has a 6-speed.
Yep.
So it has a 6-speed, but that's the end of it. Yeah. So it doesn't have anything resembling fancy wheels. It's, just a very basic car.
Well, I also felt this weird, I don't know, any cars that I'm interested always end very quickly because nobody buys them.
Nobody buys
them. So I felt like maybe I'm doing my part. I don't know.
You're getting an ultra rare Hyundai.
This plucky little South Korean company. I'm just going to do my best to help usher them into the next decade.
I know
it was only available for 2 years.
Right. Yes. Yes, because those Sonatas aren't all still on the road from the early, late 90s. Yeah.
Despite my efforts, I guarantee within 2 years there will be no Veloster N.
No, they will discontinue the Veloster. Right. It'll be they'll have a hybrid project. Go electric.
That was cool.
But that looked like the most uncomfortable pedaling position ever.
It did.
His butt was literally like just above the electric motor.
Yeah.
So his pedaling was not really good.
No.
Technically, it was a moped, but not really.
Not really.
No. Not much. Not much at all. So he gets credit for that. And to his left.
Oh, me, Steve Sleepy.
Steve Sleepy Cinch driving what?
Whoa.
Just some. Oh, the U-Haul truck just backed into. The guy backing out of the parking spot just backed into a U-Haul truck. Oh, that was crazy.
Just as he was turning into U-Haul.
I think the guy was turning into U-Haul, and the guy just shot out of the parking spot.
Yeah.
The guy probably thought the U-Haul truck was going to clear him and keep going at 30 miles an hour.
Well,
so he threw it in reverse and backed it out.
He pulled back into the spot.
He did pull back into the spot. He thought that U-Haul truck had proceeded gaily forward down Lorraine when the U-Haul truck had stopped to turn into the U-Haul lot.
There was no space for him to just take off.
No, that was it. So he hit that U-Haul really hard.
Yeah.
You heard it here, folks.
Oh, wait.
There's yelling.
There's yelling.
He's yelling.
Yeah, they're having a high volume discussion. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
For some people, I can tell you, that's just talking.
That's just talking.
Yeah. It is very. So anyway, Steve, behind you, I shall illuminate it with my.
I just rode some bike. Just some bike. Yeah.
Just probably the cheeriest GS 850G I have ever seen in my natural born life. if it wasn't such a boring bike, it would be in a museum.
So are we saying that that's original paint? Because it's got to be done, right?
It's so gorgeous.
So I've longed for
Here's the story.
50 years to have a Phil story. Because Phil has stories that everybody's like, that can't be true. And you're like, no, I know Phil, and it's true. And so I have a Phil story, and it's fucking crazy. So as we all know, as I wrote a couple weeks ago, I had bought the brown 80.
The brown 1980.
GS 8050.
Which was pretty nice, which was beautiful.
Great, mechanically great. Visually okay, need a little work. Couple things, fork seals, whatever.
Right.
So it was like a project bike, and I was kind of stoked about it. And when I bought it, I told the guy that my intention was to make it as close to original as I could. I don't want to have a hacksaw involved in any part of this motorcycle.
Right.
And I'm going to use it as a learning experience to maybe learn how to paint really well.
Right.
And do things like that. I've done mechanics a long time, but I was really going to focus on making this thing really nice, and I'm still going to do it. Right up. But I still intend to do that. So as I was going over the bike and stuff like that, I noticed, I was like, oh shit, I kind of need this one thing. I wonder if the guy had it. So I called the guy and I said, hey, do you have, and I can't even remember what it was. It was something stupid, but it was like, it's impossible to find, and he might have had it in his garage. And he was like, no, I don't have that. But the guy that I got the bike from might have it. I don't have his phone number anymore. Here's his email. So I sent this dude an email and I said, hey, his name's John. And his email was like John at friendster.com or something, right? It was like some ridiculous thing. And so I said, hey, John, I picked up your old 80 GS 850 and I love it. I'm going to try to refurb it back to what it should be.
Yep.
And I was wondering, whatever. My name's Steve, blah, whatever. So nothing, days go by, whatever. And then all of a sudden I get this email back and it's like, here's my phone number, and that's it.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm not a phone call kind of guy, so I text.
Right.
And I say, hey, this is Steve. You sent me your phone number. I'm the guy that owns your brown GS 850, trying to make it back to original, performance and style, whatever.
Right.
Blah, blah, whatever. And so a day or two goes by because this guy doesn't understand that text messages are actually a conversation. It's like an email. It's like when you get to it, you get to it, right? You get to it, So a couple days go by.
You are aware that device makes calls.
Right. Yeah. No. But I probably should have done that, but whatever. So a couple days go by and I get an email back and it says, oh, hey. He's like, oh, that's great to hear. He says, what are your intentions with that bike? And so I said,
what's his daughter?
And I said back, and I said,
what are your intentions?
I said, I'm really trying to make it back to stock. I'm going to probably repaint it at some point, but probably keep it the same color and try to make it as good as it can be. Right. I don't want to cafe racer it. I don't want to do anything. I'm involved with a bunch of guys that are into vintage motorcycles, and we like to keep them pretty much the way they came from the factory. Nothing for a day. Nothing for a day and a half. Then all of a sudden I get a text.
Oh, he had choring to do.
On Monday of this week.
Okay.
And says, I might have something that might interest you a lot.
Okay, fair enough.
And then the next line was, how much money do you have? So I wrote back to the guy and I'm like, I don't know what you're offering. I'm just looking for this dumb, it was like a cosmetic. I can't even think. It was like a fucking reflector or something, right? And so I was like, I just bought your other bike for $1,200. I don't have a lot of money, blah, blah, whatever. Nothing for a few hours. Comes back. He's like, how much money can you bring with you if you came to buy something? And literally, that's how vague it was.
That's super vague, yeah.
And I was like, I could probably wrangle $250. He's like, do you have a trailer? I said, yes. He's like, where are you? I said, I'm in Cleveland, Ohio. He's like, okay. He's like, if you can get here tomorrow, bring the money that you have and you won't be disappointed.
You know what? It sounds like he was going to take you to field and kill you and throw you in the hole.
Right. And believe me, I discussed this with my wife. I'm like, I'm about to take an adventure where I don't know what's going to be the outcome of this, but I might get fucked in the ass and die, or I might come home. And she was like, I don't care either way. It's fine.
No. The important part is you might come home with a motorcycle.
Right. Well, no, I did.
He said to bring a trailer.
Yeah, he said to bring a trailer.
He said to bring a trailer.
And I said, so what am I getting into? I'm like, he goes, well, can you take a bike home? And I said, I said, well, I brought the brown one home in this trailer, so I can. He's like, okay, great. He's like, I guarantee you will not waste your time.
Okay, rock on.
So,
but why does he have to be so vague about it?
Because he's
I'm getting there. Okay. So it's Tuesday. I'm at work, and work is taking for fucking ever, right? And I'm trying to get out of there. And finally, at about 4 o'clock, I realized that none of my bosses are there. Nobody else is there. I had brought my trailer with me, so I just fucking go out the front door and I fucking head out to this guy's address. 5 hours and 24 minutes to get to his address. It's way the fuck around Lake Erie, all the way up in Michigan, all the way almost to the UP. So I'm driving. I'm just fucking driving. And I told the guy, I text him when I was an hour out. So I text him when I'm an hour out, no response.
Right, because he doesn't.
Nothing, man. I'm just like.
And now you're sweating.
I'm like, fuck, I just drove all this way, whatever. All right, hold on. Okay, so I start to get, and we're getting into the sticks of Michigan.
Right.
It's not a city. No. There's no mile roads anymore. It's Michigan, right? And I'm pulling down, and
There's dead Buckeyes everywhere.
Yeah. But so I get to an area where it's like, houses are starting to get sparse, and then I pull down this road, and it's like this trees and road, and
was there a guy in a tree playing a banjo?
No, there was not that. But so then I see, like, it almost looks like an old gas station, and it's an old thing, and I'm like, holy shit, this is
in Michigan. They play the accordion, right?
I think so. So I pull into this thing, and as soon as I pull in, a light goes on by the front door, and I'm like, I'm probably in the right place. So this is the first time I got to meet John. John is 81 years old.
And how late in the evening is this? I mean, this has got to be 9
I got there at 9:43 at night.
All right, so it's well dark.
Yep,
yeah.
Well dark. And so John comes out, he's like, Steve. I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, John? He's like, yeah. John is a guy that is wearing what you would consider 1950s gas attendant gear.
Okay, all right.
And he probably hasn't changed it in 3 years.
Oh, he has plenty of those.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So this is what John's wearing. And John says, how you doing? How's your trip? I said, okay. And I'm like, I'm pretty interested on what we're doing.
Right.
And he's like, again, you're not going to be disappointed. And I said, okay.
Right.
And he's like, so again, tell me what your plan. I was like, well, I was going to redo the bike, and I was going to try to paint it. Like I've painted, but I really want to do a nice job on it. I want to keep it whatever. And he's like, okay, so like hacksaws are not part of your vocabulary. And I'm like, no. And I'm like, I hang with a bunch of guys that refab old bikes, and like we're into this stuff. He's like, great, perfect. We walk in, and I see this fucking diamond jewel, and it looks like there's lights pointing down on this fucking thing, right? And it's just glowing. And he's like, what do you think about that? And I'm like, that's fucking beautiful.
Yeah, right.
He's like, how much money did you bring with you? And I said, I told you I got $250. I saved $100 so I could buy gas and pay the tolls to get here and stuff because there's tolls to get to Michigan if you want to get there within a day, right, whatever. And he's like, okay. He's like, what if I told you that you can take this home and you give me that $250? So what this is it's a 1982 GS 850G that has been taken down to the frame, powder coated, refurbished every nut and bolt, put back together.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? I'm like, and so now I'm like kind of worried that like he's going to be, and I'm going to fuck you in the ass.
Right.
Like that's what I'm waiting for, right? Right. But he said what happened was there was a guy up there in Michigan.
What's your problem with that, by the way? This is a very nice.
No, I wouldn't have had a problem with it at all. Like, but at least I would have known.
Bring $250 a trailer, and what size gimp suit do you wear? So don't worry, I have them all. I just need to know what size.
But here's where it gets interesting.
And I have plenty of Amsoil.
Right. So apparently there was a guy that lived up in that area that was a Suzuki freak.
Okay.
And he was a collector.
Right.
And he had paid a bunch of dudes across the country to build bikes for him that fit the different years for his collection.
So he could have a collection, yeah.
And he died.
Oh. But his bikes were all out in the world.
But he also prepaid
and they were all
these guys to rebuild the bike.
To do the work. Yep.
So this gentleman, John, who is 82, and his wife died 35 years ago. So
my God.
He has been.
John is 82.
John's 82. His wife died 35 years ago.
Right.
He's been a motor. He had a shop or worked
100.
in a shop or something.
Right.
And then his wife died, and he became a garage hermit.
Right.
That his whole goal in life is just to work on motorcycles and wear 1950s gas attendant stuff, and that's his gig.
And not have to think about it.
But he got to be 82, and his eyesight was starting to go. And so he's moving to Denver, Colorado, where his kids now have residence.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. His kids are in their 60s.
I'm sure, like 50, 60, whatever. But he had sent most of his belongings and stuff in a moving truck, and he had a bunch of bikes. And he'd been trying to sell this bike for a long time.
Okay.
And it got to the point, because it's a Suzuki GS 850 that nobody gives a fuck about, because every hipster is looking for Hondas.
Of course.
Nobody bought it.
Right.
And so it got to the point where he was going to have to pay $800 to $1,000 to have to ship
Absolutely.
out to Colorado.
Yep. Fair game.
And so when he heard from the guy that I bought the brown bike from that there was a guy that was into these bikes and didn't want to fuck them and just keep them the way they were, he said,
guy's thrilled.
I would rather give this bike to this kid for whatever money he has. And I said, kid, I'm 50, but
I'm
whatever.
50 years old, but I'll take it.
Yeah. And so I gave the fucking guy $250.
Unbelievable.
He signed over the title and put $250 on the fucking thing.
You bought it on paper for $250.
$250 on paper.
Yeah, right.
And then we talked for...
You didn't be like, play ball a little bit. Hey, can you take that down to about $50? Right.
No, I actually offered him, like, dude, I have like an extra $10 I could probably spare before I get... He's like, no, that's fine.
Yeah, okay.
So we did that, and then we ended up talking for an hour because John's fucking awesome.
John's amazing.
John's almost the guy that you met with the scooters. Like, he's the same guy.
Right.
Like, he's had millions of miles on motorcycles. He's rebuilt 100 fucking motorcycles.
When you get guys like that, they are solid gold.
Yeah. So his thing was, he said, and you ever see the mafia movies when some guy's getting made and the boss looks at him and he says, you will not do whatever or this or anything, right?
Yeah.
Okay. He looked at me, and as he handed me the title after he put all the stuff on it, he said, you will not sell this, and you will not cafe race it, correct? Exactly. And I looked him in the eyes, and I said, no, I won't do either, at least for until, like, if my family...
Until you're dead.
Yeah.
Until John, I know you're well dead.
Or I honestly told him, I said, if selling this bike would keep my family from dying, I would do it. But until then, that's what I won't do. He said, congratulations, you now own this bike.
You now own this bike.
So now it's like 11:15.
Yeah.
And I have to drive 5.5 hours home, and I have to go to work at 7:30 in the morning. Yeah. So I take my brand new, this is a great part, I take my brand new Harbor Freight hardcore heavy duty straps out of the package, because I bought new ones because I wanted hardcore ones. Right?
Hardcore, right.
And I strap 4 of those down, and they get the thing set in my trailer, and I add a couple more. And then I give John a big hug, and I'm like, hey, good luck with you and all this stuff. And he gives me a climber manual and a jet kit and a bread box carb thing and 3 oil filters for the bike.
Yeah. And what's he need them for? You just got to move him to Denver.
And then he starts telling me, like, okay, you need to do this and that, and like make sure you do this. And the oil, he loves this oil, every fucking whatever. And so the guy's into it. Right? Whatever. So
and it's full of race gas.
Yeah,
it's clearly full of race gas.
Yeah, I thought it was ether. I kept smelling ether, but it's
clearly race gas.
Fucking like it's
Wait. You hugged him?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh, he's dead. I gave him COVID. It was 100%. But what am I going to do, dude?
Christ.
He doesn't care. This guy was fucking...
He came from a red zone to clearly a green zone and brought COVID with him.
Yeah, I did. And I just killed the guy.
You just murdered the guy.
I don't think I've ever hugged a person I was buying a vehicle from.
Did you ever pay $250 for a running motorcycle?
Well, I guess I would have.
I hugged an old woman one time that I paid $250 for a bike that I was buying from her for Phil. And I was almost in tears. It was her original bike that she bought in 1968.
Yeah. Wow. So I still have it.
We totally had to hug it out.
Yeah.
So now I say all my goodbyes and I leave. And I go down this like country road, whatever, and I start getting back to civilization about 25 miles later, and I stop at a gas station and I'm going to check my line.
Sure, absolutely.
I took the picture that I posted on Facebook to everybody, whatever, and I make sure everything's locked down and going, and I get back on the road. Well, when you're going south on, it's not 75, it's like 285 or whatever the hell's out there.
Doesn't matter.
It turns into a motocross whoop track. The fucking highway is horrible.
Yes,
it's like fucking wall.
Right?
Every concrete slab is like this.
Yeah, it's fucking terrible, right? So I'm driving and like
you gotta get in the high speed lane.
Oh, you had to, but I couldn't because all these trucks were flying by at like 85 miles an hour. So I'm stuck in the fucking slow lane, right? And so I'm doing the thing where I'm really nervous because this bike is so fucking nice that I'm like, I'm gonna fuck this thing up before I get home, right? So I'm driving, but I'm doing the like 5 seconds looking in front of me, 3 seconds looking in the mirror, 5 seconds in front of me, 3 seconds looking in the mirror. And I start to think I'm hallucinating because I'm tired.
Right.
But I think that the bike is starting to lean.
Okay.
And I'm like, well, the bike's leaning. And I'm like, I'm hallucinating. It's stupid. And I'm driving. About 5 minutes later, I look and I'm like, it looks a little more leany than it did before. I'm like, this is getting interesting. And I'm driving. And then I look and now the fucker's at a 45-degree angle. And I'm like, this is bad.
We stop. Yeah.
So I pull over and there's like trucks blowing by me at like 150 miles an hour. And I'm like, it's scary. And I look and the two on the left-hand side of the trailer, the two straps that went from the forks and the thing, the metal fucking thing that holds the whole thing is a clam. It's fucking blown open. The thing is completely gone. And I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, Harbor Straight ratchet straps are the kiss of death.
They're fucking horrible.
That's it.
And they were fucking terrible. But I pulled 2 more out and the 3 other old ones, and I just strapped the fuck out of this
Spider-Man,
thing.
man.
Yeah,
Italian Spider-Man.
And then I drove home and I got home at about 4:43 a.m. And I almost tried to sleep, and then I got up at 6:35 and went to work at 7. Yeah, and it was fucking great. But that fucker was sitting in the garage, and it was fucking happy.
Tech tip from my brother Mark, and when he did it the first time, I thought it was stupid, but he always, all the slack, he would take and tie a knot, eye to eye, knot, knot. So if the ratchet strap gives loose, at least it's not. Rope. It's still tied on.
Tied-on straps are just a cam system or a ratchet system, but it provides you with 15 feet of rope.
Yeah.
So remember, the rope is the most reliable part.
Use that extra slack. Don't just wad it up and tie it up somewhere.
Flip it around.
No,
use that for more tie down.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely the way to do it.
Hey,
so Chris Smith is here.
Chris
check,
Smith.
check. Hey guys, how we doing?
Doing great.
All right.
So yeah, your offspring was out buying a house
by me.
So Tristan is engaged to Eva.
I just saw Eva for the first time. Yeah.
And they're going to come back after they have some chips and salsa over at Si Senors.
Okay. Yeah.
So she works at UH in the NICU, which is over on, for our listeners, that's on the east side of Cleveland.
That's where my wife works, right next to there, and that's where we live. Right.
So she has been driving from Rocky River to UH now for the last 6 months and is getting tired of the drive. And a bunch of her coworkers live in some neighborhoods over there, so they went over to look at a couple of houses. One on Silby, and then another on Tullamore.
Tullamore.
So each of the houses have their nice points, and they all have their negative
to
points.
The Heights at 30 minutes to any commute time ever.
It's terrible.
Heights, there's no good way in and no good way out.
I love my house. It's 100 years old and it has character.
Right.
But it also is 100 years old. And then exactly as you said, there is no highway close by.
It's in the Heights.
You have to drive.
Yeah.
But you can drive. You can walk to restaurants.
It's the Heights has its benefits.
Yeah, it does.
The downside is getting to it.
And I got a Rasta neighbor, which is fucking great.
Which is perfect, right?
Yeah.
That's
what I did tell them is the healthcare corridor is about a year and a half from being completed. So you go straight down 490, you cross East 55th, and it takes you right over to East 105th and probably a little bit south of Carnegie in about 8 minutes. So this awful commute that she has right now coming from Rocky River and then going down Chester.
After that.
Yeah. So that's one of the big draws for her to go over there.
Are the signs going to say, like, die here with an arrow?
Yes.
Well, no, they say die in the next 50 yards.
Yeah,
right. That's it.
So,
and I'm here to tell you that everybody who lives in Chicago or cities that large, is laughing. They're laughing at you saying that that's a bad commute.
The quarter mile is open.
The quarter mile is officially open.
There was a clear winner there.
That Hornet was just playing with him. Or whatever that was.
So every guy in Chicago,
or laughing at the fact that she thinks that's a bad commute.
Oh yeah.
Because it's
or LA or New York,
LA, Chicago. You're driving an hour and a half, no matter where you
work. This is Cleveland.
Fort Wayne.
That way. The whole idea behind Cleveland is you have to embrace the suck for the amazingly short commute.
Right.
They're like on the east side where they're having picnics in the high-speed lane. And
yes, exactly. I have friends all over this goddamn country, and they all come to Cleveland and say the same thing.
First of the day.
How is it that you can get from one side of your city to the other side of your city in 30 minutes in rush hour?
Right.
And how can you buy a house for the price of a VCR?
Well, my favorite point of that is that the city of Cleveland thought it was necessary to be cool like other cities and put those signs that say, you are 8 minutes from downtown.
Right. Yes.
Right.
But like
They just don't need to change.
No, they can just put stationary signs up instead of LED ones. Like it's like fucking stupid. When you're in LA, it's like you are 9 hours from LA and you're like 2 miles away, right? And it changes. Ohio, you're like it never goes beyond 8 minutes.
It never changes.
No.
It's always the same. You're like, oh, I caught a bad traffic jam on the way to work this morning. Oh, are you 11 minutes late?
No, I'm 3.
No,
I'm
you're
3
3 minutes late. That's exactly.
I just realized I'm doing it wrong.
Yeah.
I'm living in Akron and commuting up to Solon. So
Right.
No.
I mean, yeah.
I'm going the wrong way.
We were joking about the houses that cost the same as a VCR. What's cheaper than a VCR? Because Akron is one of the only places in the world that Cleveland is allowed to make fun of.
Well, they call it Crackrin for a reason.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Acorn. Yeah.
That's true.
It's just.
I mean, you can still buy a house in Cleveland for like $9,000.
Yes.
You can.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I went and
Not
looked
a
at
problem.
3 of them last year. Yeah.
Well, there are some problems.
Yes,
Well,
there's tons of problems.
But again, it's a house for
it's
$9,000.
all problems. But the good news is, if you tear it all down and put it into a dumpster, you still have a property that you can build a $40,000 build-it-up house. So, I mean, you
can park a single wide on it and still make out.
Yeah,
realistically,
absolutely.
you know, like,
realistically. I went and looked at a couple of houses last year that when I went in and looked at them, they were all under $20,000. And I went and looked at them and I was like, okay. And by the third one, I knew how much money it would cost to take the house down. So it took me the first 2 houses to call all the people I had to call to understand what the price was to take a house down. And I mean, take a house down, away, gone.
Gone.
Like there
What
is a
communities
house
were
here.
you looking at?
What's that?
What communities?
I was
were you
literally looking right over here by West 150th.
Okay.
So right behind the airport Marriott on 150th.
Okay.
So there's a little neighborhood back in there. And it's an amazing little neighborhood.
There's a nice house over there for $30,000 with a nice 2-car garage I've been looking at.
I looked at several houses over there, and it's a beautiful neighborhood. I mean, it's well kept. It's super taken care of, and you couldn't get closer to the shop.
But it probably has a droopy ceiling fan.
Oh, did you see that one?
Oh, yeah.
The one was magnificent. There was such a mold situation in that house that I think if you even imploded it, you'd have to get EPA. Yeah,
It could only be burnt.
it could only be burned.
No,
It would never burn.
They won't
be a
let you
black
take it to the
outline.
landfill.
Yeah. They have to encapsulate it.
Yes.
Like a
Brand new 2-car garage though, brand new, fresh on the pad, brand new concrete in the backyard, and the house was rehabbed. But whoever rehabbed it did a shitty job and trapped all the moisture in the house.
Oh, good for
So
them.
everything was wavy. Like the ceiling, the roofs were all falling in, the ceilings were all falling in. But I did learn that if we need to make a house go away, $7,500 means they show up and there is a clean, swept pad when they're gone.
Wow.
Well, like a lot of the places in Cleveland, they take out the foundation.
Yep,
they
they
take
will.
everything out.
Yeah, it was.
I sold the house, so like when I got divorced, I had I didn't, because when you get divorced, they don't tell you any of the rules. They just tell you that you're horrible.
Right. Yeah. Pretty
And
much.
so like I thought I had to live by my ex-wife, so I bought this foreclosure house in this one
You
place.
gotta
in
live
Orange.
by her?
Well, there are kids involved.
Yeah,
Oh.
there's kids. So like I thought I had to live within 5 miles, whatever. So I couldn't afford where she lived.
With like an anti-child
No,
molester?
There was a residency restriction on that job.
No, but
Yeah.
seriously, like they make it seem like until
They
you
can't
ask a
upset
lawyer.
the lifestyle of the child.
Yeah, and so they make it say that you have to live within 5 or 10 miles to get them to school, whatever, which is complete bullshit.
There's
whatever.
all kinds of shit they ask for, but there's all kinds of shit you don't have to do.
A divorce
Right.
decree is not like,
Yeah. But anyways, I bought this house in Aurora Shores. It was a foreclosure. It was really cheap, and I bought it. And I realized why it was cheap is because it was sinking.
Yeah, there you go.
And so, like, the walls and stuff were kind of coming down. And so when we went to sell it, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised how much you can get away with caulking. I caulked
We're gonna make it up in the trim.
Oh yeah, dude! I caulked everything, and it looked so amazing.
Yeah.
And this guy, he gave me 10 grand over. We were asking if he could move in 2 weeks. And
You're
I
like,
said, yes.
You're like, okay, caulking. Use my thumb. No,
Yeah.
got to use a putty knife.
In college,
gotta
we
use
used
a snow shovel.
in college, we used to use toothpaste.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
a little toothpaste.
Oh,
But dude, when your ceiling is ceiling is here and your walls are disjointed by
Yeah.
2 inches,
Yeah.
and you can caulk that shut.
Oh,
That's how you do it.
laying down
you know what?
beads.
I would even say you're a cock artist.
Don't get cocky though.
Wow!
Fucking awesome.
Dimes.
Yeah.
So I mean, honestly, that Suzuki and the story that goes with it. That's magic.
It is.
That's the whole thing.
I can't get rid of it, and I haven't had anything I wanted.
No, you can't get rid of it, or he's going to pull out the Steve Voodoo doll.
Yeah, right.
Right.
No, well, so here's the thing. So karma is in effect, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, I have to do. Like, I'm such a horrible human being usually. That I'm like, I have to do something good, right? So I sold another ATV.
Right.
And I handed my wife the money.
Yeah. Just here
because
you go. Right.
I'm like, I can't.
Right.
I like. Because the Earth did, or the universe did that, I have to be cool.
You got to be, you got to pay it forward somewhere.
So you got rid of both your 4-wheeler and your 3-wheeler.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Why?
Well, just because I was thinking of going to that place.
I'll go. I'll go and hang out because my daughter is obsessed with your daughter.
Okay.
She asks about Piper every day, and I don't care if I ride anything. I will go. We'll go.
So what else did this guy have in his garage, or did I miss that part?
No, everything moved. So like, I don't know how many bikes he had refreshed. That's the thing. I don't know what his personal bikes were because they were gone. And that's one of the things I thought about pretty heavily. I would love to have seen this dude's shop when it wasn't moved. Because it was like, the stuff that was left was fucking cool. But it wasn't, like, he had moved 90% of his shop out to go, like, I'm sure he sold things and stuff. He was going to, like, live his last years with his family or his kids, right?
He's cashing out.
He's cashing out. And so, like, he had sold the place. He had, like, 2 days left to get the rest out. I think he was leaving, all the shit he didn't want to move for whoever was buying the thing, and this was left. And that's when he heard I had his old one and I was going to take care of it, I think it just meant more to him to have this thing go to somebody who was going to appreciate it. Because when you're 82, what is a fucking $1,000 or $2,000? Like,
money doesn't mean
nothing, man.
Quick question. Did you ever get the part for the other bike?
No, I didn't. I didn't. I forgot about that part completely.
What part?
That fell by the wayside pretty quick.
It was just like a stupid trim piece, like a thing that goes on the...
It's 5.8 gallons.
5.8?
5.8 gallons. The gas tank on that one.
Yeah.
Well, the bike sounds fantastic. Phil took it for a rip down the quarter mile. And we were all pretty impressed. The only thing that's not really stock on it is that Vance and Hines 4-in-1.
What did you say when I got the brown
Well,
one?
I'm like, I sent him a picture. I'm like, oh, you need to throw a 4-in-1 on that.
It does sound like a V8. It sounds like a hot rod when it fucking...
Oh, it sounds exactly like it should sound.
The Vance and Hines always did. We always, kind of growing up, this is what I grew up around.
Yep.
This was the bike everybody had in 1987, because in 1987 these were 5 years old and attainable by most 19-year-olds with unemployment check,
a newspaper route.
Right. And so these were thick on the ground, but the Vance and Hines was definitely the answer. But the problem was Kirkers were cheaper.
Yep.
So you could get a Kirker in black, which was the cheapest pipe on the planet. It might have been $79.
It would rust in a year and a half.
Oh, no. I mean, if you weren't actively barbecue painting it every time you drove it would just... Because within the first 5 miles, all the rivets would fall out of a Kirker. And, you'd have to get the sticker where the Kirker badge used to be. And then the sticker would melt perpetually.
Right.
But the Kirker just sounded like... Because, we were just taking the baffles out of them.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So, but the Kirkers, even if you I got a brand new Kirker for it. That was that was the same thing as coming home with a Mack exhaust, right? You're like, yeah, okay, you got a Kirker. Big fucking whoop. Okay,
yeah, right.
Yeah, you had $79 you found somewhere. But the Kirkers, the Vance and Hines sounded like they were tuned. They sounded like there was intention there. It sounded like things were measured when they were built. Whereas the Kirker just sounded like, it was terrible. It sounded like shit.
But my Kirker story is I helped my buddy buy a CB 550 that had a Kirker on it, and it was loud. There was no, so there's what's called packing in the muffler. So there's a tube, and it's wrapped with fiberglass, and that baffles the noise before it comes out the sound hole.
Right.
Well, that was all gone.
Yeah, it's all gone.
So a young John McElfresh got the bright idea to take a little Pink Panther insulation and wrap
fiberglass.
Did it work?
Oh, it worked fantastic. But I promise you, I only followed behind him once.
No, because the fiberglass gets in your eyes.
Oh my God.
There's 3
I
people
rode behind him for a mile, and I was like, I can't see.
Because you were dying of fucking toxoplasmosis or something.
There's 3 of them. His best friend died of mesothelioma. They're like, he wasn't even a fucking insulator. Like, what's going on with this guy?
He had glass fibers in his nose and his eyes and his beard.
No, what's weird though with I had some good aftermarket exhaust, but it was really loud.
Yeah.
So I noticed that some of the packing was coming out.
Yeah.
So I started picking at it, and I made a little hook, and I pulled some of it out, and it got quieter.
Yeah.
You pulled it over the holes.
You pulled it over the holes. That's exactly
Is that why
right.
I got quieter?
Yeah. Well, I noticed the reason I also mentioned that is I see a little thread of something coming out your tailpipe.
You could take
Something new every day.
Yeah. You could take, so you know.
So it begins.
Yeah. The trick was when we get yelled at for riding our illegal bikes and shit in the trails, we knew that if you took the exhaust off, and it rather than taking the can apart and rewrapping it, right? We use steel wool. Go figure.
Meanwhile, actual packing is like $10.
Yeah, right.
Well, exactly. I mean, when I was 12 years old, I was real good at spotting wheat pennies. I mean, it gives you an idea where my budget was. Wheat pennies were a significant part of my budget. So we learned that we could take the muffler and you could hit the muffler on the ground. And if you hit the muffler on the ground, the packing all would pack down. And it was the last 4 inches that mattered.
Oh, so you were tamping down the cigarette.
You were tamping down the cigarette.
Oh my
so you'd hit the pipe on the ground a few times and bolt her back on again, and it'd be like quiet enough that you could get down the trails without getting the police called on you.
Yeah.
And now it's like quite the contrary. What we've got going on here in Cleveland is all out urban range warfare.
Yeah.
You guys, I've got a 125cc mini bike in there, an SSR, that we've proved I couldn't kill, John couldn't kill.
No, none of us.
They're a good bike.
Yep.
2 days. 2 days in an urban environment. Motor bolts gone. Just gone. Rear tire burned to nothing. And when you see this thing, when you see what 2 days on the east side of Cleveland can do to a motorcycle.
Who bought this? Oh, wheelie guy.
Yeah. What'd you say? Life Riders or?
Bike Life.
Bike Life. You got a sticker right on it.
Yeah.
Got a sticker right on it. Lasted 2 days.
Wow.
Yeah, 2 days. Yeah, 2
Sticker
days.
lasted 2 days?
No, the fucking bike lasted 2 days. He's like, there's something wrong with the chain. I'm like, one of your motor bolts is gone. It's not even there.
Yeah.
The big through bolt is just missing. And it was Loctited and nylocked.
Right.
And then the other bolt is there, but the nut's gone and it's hanging off at an angle. The whole motor is dropped 4 inches and twisted this way.
Yeah.
I'm like, the chain is fantastic.
Yeah, it's everything else.
It's everything else. It's because the back part of your bike is pointing left and the front part of your bike is going straight.
Maybe your saggy pants got caught in the chin.
I have no idea what happened to this.
The best part,
Well, head on down to Ace Hardware and get some thread all. And
the whole bike was trash except for the front wheel. It was fucking mint. It looked fucking.
Yeah, it looked great. It is amazing how much plastic was done. Like, we think we're assholes at Mid Ohio.
Yeah, no.
Nope. 16-year-old kid on the east side of Cleveland.
Yeah, no.
Oh my God, that will do more damage.
He's a legend by now.
There is not one part. Like, I'm gonna fuck your couch is what happened to that bike. Every single fucking angle on that bike got fucked. Like, it's like somebody went around and was just like, oh, there's a clean spot. I'm gonna fuck that. Oh, there's a part that's not broken. I'm gonna fuck that.
Who put lotion between the two couch cushions? That's a little fucking weird, guy. Like,
that bike is proper fuck. So yeah, I gotta fix that tomorrow.
Good.
So yeah, I'm gonna do exactly.
Is that
what
all
you said.
covered under warranty?
No. But you know, that was the first thing that came out of his mouth, right?
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
How old's the kid?
16.
Oh, he's probably telling all
Bought
his
it
friends.
himself, or
This
with
thing's
mom
under
and dad?
warranty. I can do whatever I want.
Bought it from you?
Bought it from us. There was a grandma involved.
Yeah.
Grandma bought it for him. And Grandma bought it for him. He left out here on it, or he left out here with it. He didn't ride it out.
I'm surprised he didn't.
Oh, no. We stuffed it into the world's worst Toyota Celica or Sentra, whatever the fuck it is. Little four-door Toyota. That, like, inside of it, there was a bowl of chili. Like a bowl of chili sitting in the back seat floor area.
Be prepared.
Just open. But it had been there for like 9 months. So it was chilly, but like all the liquid had evaporated out of it. And that was just in the back seat. Plus like 400 wrappers for whatever, I don't know. But the bike was in the back seat. And the putting it in the back seat, fitting it through the doorway, had ripped the grips off of both, like the ends of both grips were ripped off. The interior of the car was fucked up because of it. Like everything was just jacked up. It was just like, It was just the worst thing to happen to a car and a motorcycle because somebody bought a motorcycle, right?
How did the kid have time to get his endorsement in 2 days?
Yeah, I know, exactly.
Well, it's a
license
dirt
plate
bike,
or
I'm sure
waiting for the title to clear or any of that shit. No, none of the above. 2 days, and this thing came back literally like, if we'd have said to all of us, I mean, literally what we are is slightly more sophisticated, orangutans. If we said, here's a bunch of alcohol, here's a fire, and here's 290 acres called Mid-Ohio, we couldn't have fucked this bike.
Well, we were pretty intoxicated, and we all wheelied and rode it around your parking lot.
Oh, yeah. Right.
And it didn't even have a scratch. When
And the one we rode, by the way, the one we rode around here, guys, was the 70cc.
Right.
This was the 125.
Oh,
shit.
Geez, yeah.
I'm convinced that this bike never shut off for 2 whole days.
Yeah, right.
That what they did was they passed it from one kid to another kid to another kid
Just
to another
filled
kid.
it with gas and kept
And
going.
and the back tire, the knobbies are all shark teeth. They're all
just
shark teeth.
spinning it.
Yeah, they're all just fucking worn one way only. And I think all it was just wheelie crash. It was just I'm gonna learn how to wheel.
Couple burnouts thrown in there. Burnout.
What he told his grandma was it has to have a clutch because I got to be able to get it up.
Yeah, right.
Right, got to have a clutch so I can get it up. And meanwhile, I'm out here in the parking lot with an automatic.
Oh,
We're fine. Yeah,
We're like,
yeah,
we're
70cc. It's right up. Yeah,
yeah.
no big deal. But anyway, I digress.
Teenagers.
Fucking worst thing ever. So yeah, awful.
So Phil, you gave us an assignment.
Yes. So you guys know we all love the Motorcycles and Misfits podcast. God love them all. They are some of my favorite people in the world.
And they're burning right now.
Right now, our heart goes out to them because they are currently on fuego.
Yes.
So all the things they love around them, all the roads I love to ride on are currently on fire.
Yep.
So
Bex is evacuated. Bagel is packed and maybe
he's ready to
going
go.
soon. Liza, I think, is packed and leaving.
It's ugly.
Yeah,
So-
it's not good, man.
And it's part of the world, too, that doesn't normally burn down. So it's more of an Ewok village kind of thing. It's very moist there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you get
very
very,
moist.
very moist.
But
Moist.
so you gave us
Wait, hold on.
the
Moist. Moist.
so you gave us the assignment.
Yes.
To find-
Because last on Monday, when Liza dropped her podcast, their podcast was the most beautiful motorcycles ever.
Right.
And my point is, when they go high, we go low.
Well, also we answered that question today. So
Wait, you
there's
said
no reason-
motorcyclist. So that's a different
Oh,
story.
yeah.
No, but we know
That
the
would be
greatest-
Liza.
We know the most beautiful motorcycle ever made,
Well,
and it's right here.
just-
so that's
just
that's
to-
moving.
Every
just
time I look at it, I just start falling asleep. You know what? It wouldn't make me sleepy, except for it has shaft drive.
Oh, I love this shaft.
I'm joking. I did take it out for a ride, and what I will have to say about that bike, to circle back for a second, is it does have the squishy foam grips.
Yes, that's
which are
weird. I don't like that.
Which, by the way, awful.
Yeah,
I didn't
terrible.
like them in 1984, and I don't like them now.
Because when you start to go fast, you feel like your hand moves.
It's
It's a little bit of a turn on, though, isn't it?
They're just terrible. They're just awful.
Not good. Yeah,
So
we'll change.
they're awful.
Yeah.
It is just like grabbing a horse's semi-flaccid dick in each hand.
So
If you can imagine that.
I've been having to watch Frankie and Grace with my mother-in-law.
Okay.
I'd rather do that than touch those grips.
Yes,
And all I think about when I'm touching those grips is everybody who's ever touched those grips before.
Right.
Because that is the same kind of thing they stick in parts of you to clean parts of you out.
Right. Right. No, those will be changed to some kind of a stock grip.
The front brakes are
Need to be
there.
bled.
They're present.
Yeah, they need to be
But
bled.
the pads are probably glazed to infinity, and the front brake hose is a 1982 vintage brake hose.
Right.
So I think that when I'm pumping it, it's just getting fatter.
Yep.
And all the energy from me pumping it is just making the hose fatter.
And I forgot to tell you that before you.
Oh yeah, no, I wasn't taking any chances.
Yeah, all right,
Expanding boost.
I wasn't taking any.
Well, you were because a little chance. Like
I mean, I'm wearing a T-shirt.
I mean, keep in mind, Phil's job is
I'm
to
wearing
work.
DOT rated. I'm wearing DOT rated bifocals.
One of Phil's jobs is to ride on bikes that have been freshly worked on by
Exactly.
questionable mechanics, myself included.
His literal job is to ride fast and
And
take
take
chances.
chances. Right.
Every day, James hands me a set of keys or 20 sets of keys and says, "Phil, you got to test ride all of these bikes." And I'm just like,
Tell me what you think about this piece of shit.
well, but no, it's normally when they come in. So when they come in
Oh.
and the customer is complaining of a mystery problem that only occurs at 85 miles an hour, you know, and I'm like, yeah, this is going to be great.
Well, I know how you feel because I happened to see this bike listed on Craigslist. It's FT500.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it says, do not really, there's like skull and crossbones. Tires are crap. Do not ride over like 2 miles an hour. I would change these tires before I would even take it up to like 35.
Perfect red herring.
So,
fake news.
Yeah.
Fake news.
That's not what it said.
Yeah, well, whatever it said, it sounded like that.
Well, that bike is fantastic, save for a weird stumble at 5,000 RPM.
It just so happens it's the bike that McElfresh put me on when he was riding my African twin.
That same bike.
And so it's okay for me to die. So
that
he
was
he would just ride home on the African twin and say, he doesn't need it anymore.
I don't know what happened to him.
Tires, Myers.
They're round and black. Those are tires.
I told you they were old tires. You were the one who said they still look pretty good.
He tells your wife, he's like, all I know is that he smiled and hit the gas and he died. I don't know what happened. He was smiling the whole time.
I did say that the problem, our mission for this week was to give us,
you want to buy it?
Each of you to give me the goddamned ugliest bike you could find or think of or remember, but it had to be from this era. Right. So like, I don't want anything that's, like they built one of these in 1926. Right. Because there's tons of that weird shit.
Wait, what was the year that you get? Like 1980s plus? Or?
No, just like relevant.
Give it to me. What do you got? What you got?
Well, you throw it out there, but if you say like, the Road Dog from Walnex magazine, I'm going to be like, fuck you,
Well, I took this serious.
Herkimer Battle Jitney.
And I like literally spent a lot of time that my boss paid for looking up all kinds of things.
That's value for money.
Sucked.
All right.
And stuff. But then I found the one that I remembered, but then I researched it quite a bit. And it is the 1994 Bimota Mantra. Are you familiar with this bike? Yeah, Mantra.
Right. It has it's so. I'm very sad to tell you that is the bike I picked.
Really?
The Bimota Mantra.
So it is so confused.
It is very confused.
Here, look, I actually printed everything out.
And so the best way.
Pass it around.
Dan's gonna go ahead and pull it out.
Kromke.
But so what this thing has, but one of its defining features is it has a aluminium headlight nacelle that goes back like 3 inches on each side, 4 inches on each side.
It has lips.
The motherfucking bike has fish lips for sure.
But it's so confused. It's a sport bike. It's a cruiser.
Right.
It's a CT 700 or it
does look like a CTX 700.
Yeah.
It does look a little like that.
It's a kind of a BMW. It's kind of a Ducati.
Yeah.
It's kind of a cruiser.
Did I spell it right?
Wait, no. Can you spell the
Mantra? Mantra. 1994.
The R is silent, like the P in swimming.
It's Bimota.
Bimota.
Taste
I
of
believe.
a joke.
There it is. You got it.
Bimota.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Particularly fetching in the vomit shade of yellow. It is the.
It has a little smiley face on the front.
It does.
It does. There it is. There it is in all its glory.
There are so many problems with this bike.
Is that a 4-cylinder?
Oh, fuck.
Because it's got 4 exhausts.
Yeah, it does have 4 exhausts.
It's interesting to say the least, and there's an interesting story behind it.
It's a 2 into 1 into 4.
Bimota was famous for using Ducati engines or Suzuki engines,
right?
Or Bimota really didn't use their own engines.
No.
Right.
And if you did some research, the designer of that thing is like from Holland or something.
Yeah.
And
go figure.
He designed some really interesting scooters as well. So like he was brought into that from designing the scooter that I don't think
like a Troika?
It's terrible.
So like a cheese and a blinch?
I'm curious as to what scooter this is.
It's terrible. It's all terrible.
But
look up. Dan, look up the designer. Say designer or
Bimota Mantra designer. Yeah, that's
it. Is the guy is.
But that bike is so wrong on so many levels, and you just totally stole it from me.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
But it's okay.
Well, we think alike.
I was going to say, and it's also a tribute to how ugly that bike is. It just makes the game shorter.
Yeah, out of 7 people, 2 people pick the same bike. Yeah, the guy's flying over it.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
They call it the much maligned mantra. Yeah.
The what?
The much maligned mantra. To give you a little backstory, they're
do a
really
wiki.
Yeah. For any Italophilic sport rider, I love whoever this rider is, genius. For any Italophilic sport rider, there are a few marks that can equal the beauty and desirability offered by the motorcycles produced by Bimota, starting with their fortuitous decision to start building bikes instead of HVAC equipment in 1972. Bimota has earned its reputation producing some of the most delectable two-wheeled exotica in the world by assembling world-class sport machines around proven, bought-in powertrains. They are one of the few companies that can consistently take top-shelf engines from already capable machines and then make those donor bikes look staid, slow, and boring in comparison to what the folks in Rimini have been slapping together in their laughably tiny factory since the Nixon administration. The DB3 Mantra is not one of those machines, nor was it ever intended to be. The Mantra represents one of Bimota's bigger missteps, an attempt to crack into a wider market that failed to win over many fans. It was expensive and saddled with some of the most controversial styling ever put into production. It was also one of the most usable real-world street bikes ever produced by the company, a fact lost in the unending stream of negative commentary that has dogged the Mantra since it was unveiled in 1994. Check and mate. Yeah, that fucking thing is butt ugly.
I've never seen
It's
anything.
like a DN01. It looked to me, it's kind of like a DN01.
It looks like a DN01 and a Multistrada. First generation got in a fight, and this was what was left in a puddle.
This is the one that lost.
It was the one that lost. It looks like a first gen Multistrada that got the shit kicked out of it.
Yeah, it really does.
Can we just talk about for a second, why is that guy floating? Like, what the hell is he doing?
He jumped up.
Italian advertising campaign.
Oh my
But here's the thing. There's so many things that are kind of okay on this bike, and then they took it too far and fucked it up. Like
the designer's name was Sasha Lockick.
That's it.
Lockish.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's
Sasha
the guy.
Lockick.
Sasha
that's it.
Cohen-Baron.
Yeah.
That's it.
Sasha Lockick.
And he designed scooters that are horrible, man.
Oh, really?
He was
How
like,
horrible.
We're about to find out.
He won a bunch of like
Oh, no, he
design
did.
awards, and
Fair
then he
enough.
got pulled into the scooter thing.
Okay.
And the scooters look like aluminum triangles with shit around them.
No,
and
wait.
stuff.
He won awards for what?
Some kind of design work. And
Yeah,
then
there's
he got-
notes.
Of HVAC equipment.
Yeah,
This guy, I mean, not even fucking around, but like there is what's called a MBK. So MBK was a Chinese manufacturer that got a lot of European input.
Yeah.
So MBK made a lot of bikes in China, but they were made using European designs.
Right.
And so if you type in MBK Black Crystal and you spell crystal wrong, spell crystal Cristal, like the dancer down the street. They call that like the new Yadea X-Men electric scooter concept. So
Did you say
like,
Medea?
Yeah, right. Yeah. So,
oh yeah, there it
I
is. See the
I
metal
see.
triangle?
Yeah, so that's the idea of like
That right there is where the water shoots out.
right. That's where the water shoots out. Yeah, yeah. That's Crystal. She goes on at 7.
It looks very insect-like.
Tip your waitresses.
It's very
Yeah.
insecty.
It is.
Looking,
It is.
right?
I don't know. I don't think it looks that bad.
Well, there's another one called the MBK. Type this one in: MBK E.T. European Transporter. Type that.
What?
MBK E.T.
Like a period or a
E period.
Yeah.
T dot.
Right. Okay, and then type in European, and it should auto-complete at that point.
We hope.
European.
No, we are on something that Google
That's
doesn't.
probably all you need.
Transporter.
Oh.
Transporter. Now type in transporter. Transporter. Space transporter. All right, there you go.
Quarter mile's open.
Yeah. All right, quarter miles up.
What was that?
Oh, there it is. There it is.
So, what?
I like that.
Look at that
That thing
thing.
is really cool.
So I knew Hoffert was going to love that. Yeah.
He has a new goal in life. That's
Yeah.
his new goal in
Yeah,
life.
that's what it is. And,
It's a cross between a dolphin and a centipede.
well, and I don't think what you can't appreciate in that particular picture, what you can't really appreciate in that picture is that it is truly the color of it can best be described as a toilet accessory. I'll pass that around.
I think there was like that new version of the Ford Thunderbird that came in that color.
It's truly teal
that's
and blue,
amazing.
1994. But it does look like something you would find in a bathroom in the 90s. That is an ugly fucking bike.
That is retro futuristic.
MBK European Transporter.
Retro futuristic.
And that's another one of those ones where you're like,
what year was that?
Good Lord.
What year was that compared to
94.
Oh, same year.
Wow.
This one I'm passing around was 94.
So he was busy.
He was hot in the early 90s. Yeah.
I like that thing.
Honestly,
I really do.
Honestly,
I'm sure
that,
you
that
do.
was pretty good for the early 90s, I think.
Yeah, right after the great Serbian conflict, I guess is the nicest way to put it. I don't care how
Have
you
you
come
ever
down
seen
that
the
wall.
Serbian film, by the way? Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Good movie.
Right.
Good movie.
Yeah. If you haven't seen the Serbian film, you
I
should.
highly recommend it.
But yeah, that thing is just hideous. And that does look like one of those, like, water toys from one of the first Godzilla movies, Here we go. Get it. Oh, man. Hey, he's got one of those top cases on the back of his Harley Davidson that you can only fit one large pizza in.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It's got a lid and everything like a real tour case, a tour pack, but it's only that deep. So you're like, okay, here's your one pizza.
It's chopped.
Yeah, I do. Give me either of the Great Lakes out of the fridge. Thank you. Yep.
Bumble?
I'm good.
All right. So that is truly an ugly motorcycle. Thank you for reminding us about that horrible, horrible designer. Because damn, that guy, that is seriously, that dude is a fucking, he's futuristic and shit, but that thing looks like a pool toy. So
That's
apparently it's electric. So.
It's different, but in not the right kind of way.
No, it's in a very, very bad way. It is different in all. He's delivered. He's he's definitely designed a few electric bikes. He designed an electric bike that doesn't look too bad called the Voxan, a VOXAN motorcycle that is actually kind of gorgeous looking. But it's electric. But it's electric. It is electric.
Boogie, woogie, woogie, woogie.
Boogie, woogie, woogie. Yeah. So that's what that is. God, that thing is so fucking ugly, man. That MBK, I can't get over that MBK ET. That is truly, like, if you ride that bike, you deserve to get the shit kicked out of you.
You talk about a Ducati having a bad hump on the tank.
Right. That's not the Voxan.
That's not it.
No. The Voxan I was talking about is very different looking, but I'll see if I can find. It's the same thing. If you type in Voxan, VOXAN LAKIC with man's name, you might be able to get it that way. Voxan Watchman. Like, oh, Jesus Christ. Did you type in Voxan? Okay, now take out where it says Voxan. Yep, there you go. That's it. Right there.
Oh, wow.
Thank you, Steve. Yay. There was much rejoicing.
So,
all right.
So that is the monolith of any electric motorcycle.
It is the monolith. Yes, exactly.
It's like a wave runner on wheels.
So now we've got mine out of the way. So my Bimota Mantra, which now gone. Yep. Did you have any other?
No, that was my. I spent a lot of time finding that fucker.
You know what? Well done.
Yeah. Well, we think alike.
Right,
that was right.
Yeah. All right, next.
Well, I texted back right away that the R1200C was my pick.
I think we all will agree that the R1200C, Pierce Brosnan couldn't make that bike look good.
And I thought to myself,
Michelle
that can't
Yeoh
actually be the ugliest bike. So I started looking for ugly bikes, and then I'd compare it to that. And
you'd use that as a benchmark.
It is a fucking ugly bike. It is just, it's horrible.
The R1200C is
every
well, let's see it.
From every angle that you can see it from.
You'll see it in 21 minutes.
The worst thing
seconds.
about the R1200C is they added leather.
Ooh.
So when the bike wasn't ugly enough, they added leather to it. And there you go. That's the best color too.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Sour milk ivory. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's got that telelever suspension on the front.
What you don't see here is there is like these weird. These oval shaped intakes when you see it from the front, which I assume are fake until proven otherwise.
Right. No, they don't do anything. They're not even at a point on the motorcycle where they could do anything.
So this is a VMAX and what fucked?
Oh my God! This is an R1200 RT. Got in a crash with any shadow ever.
Okay.
And
got gang raped by a herd of VMAXs.
But
oh, you know what? It was, I tell you, it's a chopper. It's a chopper that was designed by a former Ural designer who once saw a picture of a Softail.
But let me ask you this. Are they good bikes, though?
I've ridden several of them. I worked on a lot of them for my customers.
They're all right, right? Like
Okay.
riding-wise.
They have oddball parts, though.
They're super weird. I had to replace a saddlebag for a guy once. So these things came with BMW hard soft luggage.
Right.
So it's a plastic box with a leather skin wrapped around it.
Right.
So, yo.
And they come in different colors. And there was one that came in a particular awful shade of gray. So the backrest is actually another seat. Okay. So the seat folds up to be a backrest. And it had gray leather covered bags and gray saddles and stuff. The guy dumped the bike. I found one saddlebag I needed, $1,236.
Ooh.
Yeah, for one fucking bag. And that was the exact BMW price.
But they can flat track like the best of them.
James Bond movie, they trashed the bike. Which it
good.
deserved, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what they did? They went, yeah, okay, so we still got 2,300 more of these.
You know what was sad? About 20 years ago or 15 years ago, I was collecting all these like miniature 12 scale motorcycles, and then they started to produce 6 scale ones.
Right. Yeah.
And I had a 6 scale version of that with all
G.I. Joe could ride it.
Oh yeah,
big G.I. Joe could ride
great,
it.
man.
Yeah.
Cost me like $140 at the time too. Man.
I think you can buy one of these right now for $140. The word is out. Nobody wants these.
Yeah,
One
right.
scale.
Our friend Gorby came by 2 years ago. Gorby swang by, and Gorby picked up one of these in perfect condition. I mean, fucking beautiful condition.
Showroom condition.
$2,800.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, $2,800 with no miles on it. So yeah, it is a fucking hideous bike.
So if you really want a BMW and
Yeah.
you don't care about the aesthetics of it, that's your bike.
If you're not going to put another goddamn nickel in Harley Davidson's pocket,
Yeah.
and you just met a German girl, this is the bike you buy. Yeah, this is what you
If you're
do.
into German porn, this is what you do.
That's also true. Yeah, that's exactly it.
And if you're into scat, this would be the bike for you.
Exhaust smells like bratwurst poo. Yeah. All right, Nick. Nick, you're up.
Wait, are we?
Well, which way do you want to go?
Nick,
I mean, he
that's fine.
started.
Yeah, I
So,
started,
yeah.
so-
All right, my pick was the Victory Vision.
The Victory Vision. The
Shut
Victory
your
Vision.
mouth.
Is that
Oh,
yours?
no, the
Shut
Victory
your
Vision.
mouth. I love the Victory Vision.
I feel like
It's the mothership.
here's the thing. If this thing has a look at that
I love the
overhang on
Victory Vision.
That is ridiculous.
This is what happens when a V-twin. This is what happens when a V-twin motor falls into a French curve.
Right? No, I was thinking like
Eyes, my eyes.
oh, I was thinking like Pacific or PC 800.
Right.
But the engine is exposed.
Yes.
And it's still ugly.
It is the anti-PC.
Do you know
Right.
what? You know what this
What
looks
is going on right here?
right?
What
Yeah.
happened with this?
Yeah.
Who said that angle, right, for the top case, the integral top case, the
Keeps the
angle of
pizza
it?
forward.
Yes, it's going wrong. Like every.
It's a scorpion tail.
It's a spoiler.
And you know what this is?
Yeah.
This is a guy who, like, the designer of this was like, I really want to make one of those VW Fender mini
Yes,
bikes,
exactly.
but I want to make it into a fucking tourer.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's pretty much it.
The line is so. I like the line on that bike.
You do?
I love
Even
the line
the tail
on that
case.
bike.
Look at the tail case.
But but the angle is correct.
No,
it's not.
the angle is.
No, I'm saying. I mean,
Ooh.
no,
Correct.
I'm saying.
It looks
for
like somebody pulled a lever and the rumble seat came out.
No, I'm not saying. If you look at the back of it, the angle's not correct for that.
I'm looking at the back of it.
But if you're looking at the line, the lines are correct if you're looking from the forward to the back. Not from the back to the
If you
forward.
take the
Walk
top
up to the
case
board and show
off,
us what you're talking about.
Show me the numbers.
Go up to the board.
I'm saying that if you don't look at the angle.
Steve's
All right,
going,
all right,
he's
he's
going to the
walking
board.
up.
He's going to the board.
walking
He's
up.
going to the board.
What?
all right, yeah.
This, right?
Yeah.
That angle's perfect.
All right.
This angle like
Okay,
this.
okay.
That's
This
not.
angle, if you don't
No.
look at this gap ruins it, but this angle is perfect.
Nope, it's not.
It is.
Nope.
If you pull up,
Black here, you can't see it. It's black.
The first one you pointed out was fine.
yeah, honestly, if
This is garbage back here.
if the
Garbage in the back.
Hold on.
if the top box was gone,
Let's have an idea here. Okay.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
So now we have a Chinese replica of a Honda scooter.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not good.
but nobody can see this because Steve is blocking the camera.
Yeah.
They still can't see it.
Here's the Chinese replica of a Honda scooter.
Yeah.
That part back, right? Okay.
So Phil's saying it's a replica of a Chinese scooter.
Right? So right here, I don't know what's going on. Right?
Yeah.
So like from here forward is just like insanity. Yeah.
I don't know. I like the line. I always like victory.
Now that being said,
You know, that bike really needs a gigantic front wheel.
a much bigger front wheel.
Balance is awesome on those bikes.
Well, I've ridden them too, and they are magical.
You know what? I've heard lots of people love this bike.
Yes, a lot of
I
people
just
love
think
this bike.
it looks like shit.
It's like Yanni and Laurel. You're seeing the Laurel, and I'm seeing Yanni.
The Pontiac Aztec may be the greatest car ever built, but I don't know because I'll never be seen in one.
I saw
Aztecs,
three of
but
them
it seems very
in a
cool.
single day.
Three Aztec.
Yeah, last week. I don't know what's up with that.
You at a Breaking Bad convention?
Maybe.
Because that was the reason. Like that was what put the car back into play.
I will say they have not aged horribly.
No, they have aged poorly. That is the car that they should have just called it the Adobe. Adobe. It's made out of clay.
That was the greatest Saturday Night Live skit ever.
It's easily repaired. Yeah.
Drink holder? No problem.
Yeah. That's what the Aztec reminds me of, is the Adobe car. All right. Okay. Well, yeah.
All right. And to his left,
The Victory
Mac.
Vision.
to his right.
I mean, I have so many, but I'm just going to start off. You know, I like Hondas, so one of the ones that I was throwing under the bus, which is actually a fantastic bike, was the Honda Silverwing 650 with the little trunk box
With
in
the
maroon,
trunk box that slides forward to be a
full
backrest.
with full luggage
Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, a great bike.
Can I tell him to go fuck himself?
Yes, you
No,
can.
look, Steve.
You can.
I'm not saying it's not a great bike, but I'm saying that I wouldn't fuck it with your dick.
You know, banning everything I have.
I was honestly expecting you to say the GS 850G.
Well, I was thinking about pulling that car, but you
Steve,
know,
don't take it. Don't take it,
But
bud.
it's not ugly. That bike is not ugly.
No.
If you pull up a picture of a 1983 Honda GL 650 Silverwing,
I don't know what's going on. My phone has been dropping about 1% battery every minute.
well, I
because
think
you're pushing light out of
Because,
it.
well, I mean, the projector is plugged in.
Okay.
But
the
it's
phone's not.
still drawing power out of the phone.
Right.
So
Right.
it's like,
you have
and
to
it
plug
just,
them
it
both
just
in.
went off. I can't
I
get it to turn
can
back on.
I can edit these.
Yeah, we'll edit
so
it in.
don't
We'll
worry
edit it
about
in.
it.
I think our listeners can use Google and look it up. And
I will
Steve will
but
put it in for the
particularly
video.
the model that had the little, instead of having the pill-on seat, it had a rear trunk, which is probably fantastically practical. And then that would take you on to the NC 700 Duvel, which is the only which is like
the Dolville.
But I will agree with you that instead of the pillion seat, if you put that little stupid trunk on it,
Right.
it looks not right.
Yeah.
No, it looks wrong.
But if you have the extended,
Yeah.
if you have the pillion seat with the extended rack with that trunk on
Right.
it, it looks okay.
Is this?
Well, look, I was very specific when I said with the trunk and what year
Yeah.
and even what color, the maroon. Because the Silverwing, it kind of makes sense. But
Silver and blue one is really.
But anyway, I'd like to. Moving on, I'd also like to nominate the like a 1968.
Right there.
There you go. See, that's the good looking one.
Oh, gotcha. So
That's the good looking one.
That's
that
the
doesn't have the
GL 500 or the
That's
the twin.
650 Interstate.
Yep.
Yeah. The next one I'd like to nominate is the.
You couldn't pick two.
Like,
he can.
I've got like 6, but at any rate. I would like to also nominate like a 1960s, probably like a 68. It goes all the way from 62 through 68. The Harley Davidson Sprint.
Yes, the Harley Davidson Sprint.
Yeah, that is the fucking ugly duckling if I've ever seen one.
You know what's funny is you could put any motor you wanted to under that motorcycle and it would look better.
Yeah.
But the Aramaki motor that was under it looks like literally somebody just was like, okay, we're going to have a motorcycle. What kind of motor are we put in it? What can we get?
Yeah.
So whoever comes in with the motor first, that's the motor we're putting in here.
Straightforward.
Straightforward.
Yeah.
The Phalus.
Yeah, the Phalus, exactly.
The fucking dick.
Yeah, the Aramaki Sprint.
Yep, that's it.
The Aramaki Sprint is
In the
not a
wind.
good looking bike. Yep.
Dick in the wind.
Dick in the wind. Perfect.
Yeah. I'd also like to throw out there the Suzuki Gladys.
Yes.
Oh,
So you
yeah.
take a beautiful, relatively decent SV650,
Yep.
and you put some very fucking ridiculously swoopy, like vaginal fucking
unnecessary
bodywork
shit.
on it.
But the problem with that. All right, thank you, Marcel.
Yeah.
The problem with that is, yes, it was ugly, but it was actually a better mechanical motorcycle.
No doubt.
Yeah,
no
it's
doubt.
great.
I
Yeah.
love the fact that these are actually not bad
Why do they
bikes.
call it the Gladys instead of the
Because
Badges?
Gladys means sword, and sword is a euphemism for penis.
Oh.
And then they made it look like a vagina?
And then they made it
Tough marketing.
white and
angle.
blue highlights of unnecessary plastic bolted to
Here,
it.
I'm looking it up.
My
I'm looking
wife's
it up.
SV was fuel injected. It was an SV650S. It was
wife's
fuel
SV.
injected. It looked perfect. It looked great.
Talk about her
It performed beautifully.
video.
There's the Gladys.
The Gladys, though, the Gladys just came in that one color combination of
It
shame.
was designed by SeaWorld.
SeaWorld, exactly. I used to have a little Shamu keychain, looked just like a
They
Gladys.
should have spelled it Gladys.
Gladius.
Yeah. Yeah. That is nothing. That was just one of those things. The first time I saw that, I was like, you brought the SV back and you fucked it.
Yeah.
Now, again, I'm a Honda guy,
Yeah.
but one of the bikes I can't stand
Here we go.
is a V65.
Oh, V65 Magna.
A V65
Terrible.
Magna is just like terrible.
There's a whole farm, though, of V shadows and everything else, 500s and stuff, where the seat angle and the tank angle are all wrong.
Yeah.
And regardless of an 1100cc motor with 120 horsepower, the angles are wrong because when you look at the same build as a Honda Sabre 650 or V65 Sabre, it's really good looking.
Yes, I'll take a Sabre.
So a V65 Sabre is a fine looking machine.
Yes.
A V65 Magna, again, which
I
way's
agree
the
with
jail?
you.
You know?
Fantastic bike again.
No, not fantastic bike.
Oh, come on.
I ride those bikes. They're not fantastic. That front end is garbage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, fantastic motor.
The motor's amazing.
Okay.
But the front end is a disaster.
What's up with the two horns beneath the headlight
Of what?
of the Magna?
That was
The
the thing.
Magna.
Yeah.
Oh,
Square
excuse
headlight,
me.
2 horns.
The Camerna.
There's
sorry.
quite a few
Come here.
bikes that had that though.
Yeah. Square
Yeah, it was
headlight,
a
2
style.
horns. Yeah.
Doesn't your Ascot have that, or is it one?
No, it doesn't have
No,
that.
it just has a big square thing on it.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it has that or not, but
Yeah.
it won't have it the next time you see it.
Next time. Yeah, it's true. All right.
Square
so that's
headlights were never popular on any bike.
No.
You know, then I could throw out like the CZ. When you look at the CZ street bikes of the 1970s, they're just
That
awful,
was somebody
awful looking.
that should have had the French curve, but didn't have one because they were an Eastern Bloc. And when you're Eastern Bloc, you're not allowed to make anything with curves on it because that's all very,
Yeah.
The one is a
scooters
the one has a trapezoidal shaped tank on it with these angular cuts in it and everything. It's just garbage.
71.
It's awful.
Yeah.
Like that one there.
all CZs are cosmetically challenged. All CZs look like they were modeled out of cardboard, and
Although-
then that went to production.
Although there was a really nice CZ up Louisville cycle group on
Yeah.
Yahoo, or
Yeah.
not yet. It was
Yeah.
not Yahoo, but on the Facebooks.
Yeah.
They had the MZ. What is it? The M1000S.
Now, MZ and CZ, not the same.
Oh, right. Sorry. Excuse
Right.
me. So, yes, not the same thing
Yeah.
at all.
Right.
But there was actually one of those.
There's
up
some
for sale.
beautiful MZs.
The MZ 1000S with
Oh, yeah.
low
No,
mileage
there's some
was
gorgeous MZs.
$5,600. The bike looks fantastic. We could good luck finding any kind of parts for that.
Right.
You'd be better off buying a Buell.
Oh, you know what? If you got your MZ on the trailer and the seat blows off your MZ, good luck.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah. Done.
Total it.
Make a new one.
Make a new one. Right. Carve one out of.
I have a question.
Fire away.
There are a lot of motorcycles
Yes.
from the era that we are talking about
Right.
that have rectangular headlights.
Terrible.
Would they look better with circular
Yes.
headlights?
Yes.
Absolutely.
100%.
So Cam's Z-Rex
Right. Yeah.
would look better
Yes. I
with a
agree.
circular
Absolutely.
headlights.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean,
I agree.
Z-Rex It's a pretty good looking bike, though. You know, would it look?
Well, it would look better with a circular headlight.
It would look better with a circular
It would
headlight.
look better with a circular halo headlight
Well, you know
nowadays.
Well, you know what?
The LED halo.
I guess you know what proof of that is.
Right.
Because I have my CB1, I was looking at it and I'm like, I need to dump this fairing off of here, buy one of these fucking halo fairings, convert it back to what it should be,
that's right.
which is a naked bike
Yeah.
with a LED halo fairing, and it'll look great.
Well, proof. I guess to prove myself wrong and prove what Nick was saying is that
I mean, you proved yourself wrong. No,
If you look at the KZ900 RS,
I was about to say the cafe
KZ900
version
RS,
of it with the round headlights and the
sexy.
green.
Right.
Yeah, it's fucking.
Okay. Here's another follow-up question.
Okay.
Is there a motorcycle that looks better with a rectangular headlight?
Yes. No.
well, okay, here we go. The only one. Okay, so here's
the BMW. What do you call the GS when it went from the square to like that?
That doesn't count. That
the
doesn't
only
count.
bike that I think should have rectangular headlights are whenever they do the Harley chopper and they put 2 or even 3.
they stack them up.
They stack
But those
rectangular
are
headlights.
little,
Oh shit!
Yeah.
you know, those are little.
You can
Dixie
have
side
that,
rails.
maybe.
Yeah, Dixie
Maybe.
dimensions,
Right.
yeah.
You're right.
But
you're right.
otherwise, no.
No, I agree.
Like even sport bikes with fucking square headlights look.
I
cool.
like
the idea
2
was-
round headlights is
The whole
best.
idea was that
Yes.
it was. I mean, I lived through all that, and the idea was that you could just go get a Sylvania or Wagner car bulb
Yeah, right.
and pop it in your motorcycle, and it made it cheap.
Right.
Because cars quit having round headlights. You know, I know because I have my '68 Lincoln Continental and stuff like that are all round headlights, and I knew which bulb I needed to buy because it was a high beam, low beam, you know, and how to survive with that. But then all the cars went to square headlights.
Yeah.
So when all the cars went to square headlights, motorcycles followed suit for a minute, and everybody's like, "Come on, you got to stop."
Give me a Suzuki Gamma with 2 nice round headlights up there.
Exactly.
I love
They're
that.
gorgeous.
Only thing worse than a square headlight is a pop-up square headlight.
Oh no! Wait a minute. Let's go.
But I mean, you do have to look at
Now,
Suzuki first
on my
gen.
list of most ugliest bikes is the Ural with the sidecar.
Oh shit!
That was a direct assault on Captain.
How about the P? Let's just throw the PC800 too.
No.
All right, all right, Grumpy Sir Guy. What's
I
your
don't think the
pick?
PC800 is an ugly bike.
I don't think it is either.
I think,
All right.
but
What
I
do you
will
mean?
say,
I don't think Steve has an ugly bike.
I do.
No, but
in
you know what,
defense-
Phil?
What's
you
your ugly
posted.
bike?
Hold on, Phil posted a naked PC800
I did. Yeah,
that
Street
actually
Fighter.
looked bad fucking ass.
Oh yeah.
Hey guys, if you're
Bad to the
interested,
bone.
there is a bike that does look good with a square headlight. I'll pass it around. And that
Oh,
is the
the Katana.
1983
Yeah,
Katana.
yeah.
So the 83 Katana does look good with a square
A
headlight.
fucking katana.
Because again, the Suzuki Katana is a bike of angles.
Yes.
So the tires are the only part on the bike that's round.
Round, right?
Yeah, that's it. The rest of
And
it is all
like
square.
that's a love-hate bike. Some
It
people
is,
love
yeah.
it, some people hate it. But
is.
if you changed any aspect of it,
Yeah.
it fucks the whole thing up. It has
does.
to be
And
just
the Katana
that.
is
There's no changing that gear of Katana.
the Katana.
No.
The Katana 1100 is Katana 1100. It is the bike that developed the whole concept.
Here's a
of
random
that.
question. What was the last year of the katana?
96.
This year.
No.
No,
Was it?
they're back now,
They're
right?
back now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're back now.
yeah.
But I think 96 was the last sport bike year, right?
I don't know, right? I do not know. Yeah.
I'm just guessing, but I think it's 96.
Yeah, I do not.
Suzuki's we could talk about Suzuki and why Suzuki's always been there, but
Yeah.
it's never been a leader.
Yes, it has.
You know what?
Suzuki on the track.
It's crazy that they've managed to stay in business. They stay in the game. They don't have bad bikes. I mean, they're reasonable bikes.
Here's
but
the
it's
thing.
just not been a marquee
Here's
that
the
people have been.
1981 to 2006.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh,
Okay,
2006.
till 2006 was the run of the Katana. Now, here's the kooky thing. I'm going to argue without even looking at any data that the GSXR was probably the winningest sport bike.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Right.
Oh yeah.
That's
absolutely.
the one big hit
Yeah.
that Suzuki really
Oh
had.
shit.
Yep.
Besides the DR650. DR650
Check
or
the camera.
DR400,
Yeah,
definitely
camera.
decent bikes.
Did we lose?
All right,
were beeps.
we're going to take a little intermission here.
We're going to find out if the camera's still working. I do new. And we're back after our intermission.
And we're back.
And we're back.
All right. And so
Since last we spoke and you listened.
I no longer have a mint Suzuki.
Oh,
Remember that really nice bike, Cinch?
oh my God. You know what? They say, it's like when you got a good podcast rolling, don't ever stop.
Yeah, right.
Well, we stopped to, to reprime the camera and everything else.
Because somebody unplugged it
Because it
somehow.
got unplugged.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we get to put tape around the plugs from now on. But yeah, so while we were on our intermission, having a smoke and a beer and a pee and whatnot, Nick decided to take the GS 850G out for a ride.
And he did an amazing job riding it.
He took off like a man.
Very commanding.
Fucking commanded the whole power of the bike.
No problem.
Oh, the bike was fantastic.
But more importantly than my bike not being mint anymore, Nick's 5-minute car that was mint is no longer mint anymore. And I feel terrible for Nick's car.
So
I want to see the offspring that comes out of that unholy mating.
as painful as it may be, do you want to tell us what happened, Nick?
yeah.
Or should we speak for you?
Oh, so I'll speak for myself very much. But I took Cinch's GS 850G out for a ride.
That was mint.
You have to say formerly mint.
Oh, it was
Formerly
mint. This thing was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Gorgeous motorcycle. I took it out for a ride. I just went down the street, maybe a half mile to 150th Street.
And how was it? How was the ride?
Oh, it was fantastic. Perfectly smooth.
Yep.
I turned around in a gravel lot, and it was fantastic. No problems.
Planet
whatsoever.
itself was fucking mint.
Fantastic.
Right? Yep.
Absolutely. And I came back. I pulled into the Cleveland-Moto parking lot.
You did an excellent job. It looked great.
Oh,
you came back.
thank
You were
you.
smiling.
Thank you.
Everything was great.
I was so happy.
It's like, well, wait. Can we say something like somebody else banging the bride on the wedding night?
Call me Ishmael. Call me Ishmael.
We're getting there. I decided to park. I got off of the motorcycle, and
you didn't actually get off of it. You stopped.
I stopped.
Thank you.
I was going to put it on the center stand, and then I completely dropped it.
But wait, what did you drop it into?
Well, the good thing was something broke its fall.
I'd like to add a little bit to this here. I was watching the whole thing very closely. And I noticed when Nick got off of it, it looked for a second that it was going to go on the side stand, and it went a little bit far that way, and I was like, whoa, no. But he saved that.
Yeah.
And then it went back upright, and then he went to fiddle fuck with the center stand, not to be, he wanted to be a pro.
Right, put it on center stand, right?
And I saw it go a little bit to the right, and I was like, and I thought, oh no, he's got it. And then, no, he didn't have it.
But most importantly, it fucking straight up porpoised, like fucking whale killed his car.
No, it was like Darcy blows.
And
it's big and it's white and it's coming at me.
And it said whatever mirror was not attached to my motorcycle anymore through his door.
I just don't understand how the mirror
The
part.
GS 850 said, I'm feeling sleepy. I'm going to lay down here.
Yeah.
Everything I saw Nick. I mean, he was trying so hard. I mean, that bike just took him. He almost went face first into the car.
I thought he was going to flip over the car.
He used all of his 50 pounds to try to save that bike.
Yeah,
Nick would have been built like any of the rest of us. Not a problem.
Yeah, you're dealing with a 564-pound motorcycle.
Guys,
so.
Just not enough ballast there.
The mirror penetrated the car.
Did the lens on the mirror break?
Not just any car. We haven't even talked about your new car.
Right.
Are we like, what do they call those guys? Snow Brothers now or something? Or
your Eskimo brothers.
Eskimo Brothers.
I guess so.
Your bike fucked his car. You're now related. That's it. I just don't know how the mirror escaped. The mirror, the head of the mirror jumped off. So the shaft of the mirror.
It didn't even hit the car. It was like fucking gone before it happened.
Right. And the stem of the mirror left a perfect M6 thread in the side skirt.
You have a GoPro mount for your racing now.
Yes, you do. You got a GoPro mount in your side skirt. Stick a GoPro mount right there.
That's true.
Perfect. The head of the mirror.
See what the offspring is going to look like.
Oh yeah.
Right there.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'm telling you, that was one of those things where I was like, there's a mirror hanging out of his car. And it made no sense because I was like, well, where's the head of the mirror?
Right,
the head of the mirror didn't fit in that little tiny hole.
Honestly, I wish I didn't remove it.
Yeah, well, it's like a sword cane where you're like, it's a sword,
Yeah,
but then you take it off and there's a weapon inside. Well, the mirror came off and there was a weapon inside.
Right.
It was a car stabber.
But the important part is there's no sheet metal injured except for the front fender, which has a...
I thought you were talking about his car.
No, no sheet metal bezel.
Right.
Nothing important.
A $12 fucking turn signal and an $8 fucking MGO mirror, and it's done.
Yeah,
so
it's
I'm fine.
minimal. Yeah, super.
And here's the thing: when you like motorcycles, that they're meant to be shared and ridden, and things happen.
And the bike did pass the KLR test.
It did pass
It did pass the
pass
KLR test. There's no doubt about it. It's now officially an adventure bike.
Yeah.
Steve.
Hey, Phil, can you order me some fucking 805s?
Yes, we can order some 805s for that. Absolutely.
And I need a hacksaw and a brown seat now.
And that's all you need. That's it.
You need some sliders.
You're gonna get some TKC 80s, some big crash bars. Yeah, you'll be
Steve,
set.
I am eternally grateful for you letting me ride your pristine GS 850G.
No, it's just nice now. It's just nice.
I am very sorry.
Dan said he wanted to know if you'd like to take a ride on his Triumph.
Keys are in it.
Phil said anything in the house is yours, dude. I'm going to figure it out.
All right.
Lightning never strikes
Make
twice,
sure the
right?
camera, and you know what?
Jesus Christ.
Why couldn't the camera been rolling right then?
Right.
And to his left.
Oh my God.
So getting back, so Steve, what's your shittiest bike? What is the
What
most,
do you think is the
what is
ugliest
the ugliest fucking bike?
I would say, well, prior to the crash, I wouldn't have said it. But no, I'm going to stick with the ugliest bike that I've ever seen in my life. It's a CM 400T.
Yeah, yeah. And that is.
But John and I were talking about this too.
Yeah.
And we think just the CM line is ugly.
Yeah, because there was no ambition there.
No.
Like, it was all just like designed by committee. It was like, we need a cheap motorcycle. And that's what happened, is they built a cheap motorcycle. And they didn't put anything into it. It just was like, oh, we'll use that tank. Okay, we'll use that seat. All right. You know, like, nobody ever put any thought into the design of that bike. It was just like, we just need a cheap bike. We're Honda. Whatever we build, people are going to buy. Yeah. So we just need a bike that's cheap. So what are we going to build a margin into?
It's a twin cylinder, but we can just put one carburetor on it.
Right. Yeah. Oh, and that's just the ultimate sin too. When they do that shit, it's just like, come on, man. You're just obviously cheaping out hard. It's bad. And that is a good example of just a bike that's bad.
Why didn't you just make it a single cylinder with one carburetor? It might have been a great bike.
You know, and they did that too with the CB360J, which was kickstart only because they wanted to save money on a fucking starter. So, you know, the CB360 already had its share of problems. And then they make one that's a down market model. I mean, it's got like, it's kind of an F style tank. It's a little more sporty. But then it was like, oh, kickstart only, because that fucking starter is going to, that's going to really break your company.
But meanwhile, you've got to redesign the motor to not accept
to not have a starter. Yeah. Exactly.
So for people that don't know, because because every dude in the world has bought every CB350 that exists.
Right.
So when you see a 360, why do people not necessarily want this 360?
Well, okay, because on paper, the idea was everything that was great about the CB350.
Right.
But there was a problem with it. It had been out for a while, and this is the twin. It had been out for a while, and it was kind of stale, right? And so the bike was stale, and people weren't flocking to it anymore. And a lot of the other competitors had done slightly bigger displacements. So Honda's answer was, we're going to put a 6-speed in the gearbox.
I was going to say, you at least get an extra gear.
So you get an extra gear in the gearbox. But the extra gear was smoke and mirrors to hide a lot of other shitty manufacturing stuff that went into it. Aside from the banana-shaped exhaust, which never looked good. And they have these giant seams in them. They're stamped together and welded, and they just have a big, it looks like just like a bad dick. It's like a dick that got kicked at a young age.
Peyronie's disease.
Yes. Yeah. It just
Peyronie's mufflers.
Yeah, it was just ugly. But then the CB360 also had numerous problems.
Okay,
So
elaborate.
So the carbs, first of all, when you looked at the CB350s as a whole, even late in the CB350s, when they did a vacuum carb, when they built a carb that was vacuum based, it was a good vacuum based carb. It was very nice. Everything was overbuilt and it was durable and everything else. But when they went to the CB360, they just threw the cheapest fucking CVs on there they could build. They were just junk. And they were the kind of CVs that we hate to see because the diaphragms for them are so fragile. Whereas the giant tap, if you're looking at the carburetors and you see that it's not a mechanical carb anymore, that's got a roof on it, so to speak, it's got a cylinder on top of the carburetor, that's an early CV. They were vacuum-based carburetors, but they're very robust and they're very durable because the vacuum chamber is really large and it has a large slider that moves up and down.
Or like the CB450s where they didn't have a diaphragm.
No.
It was just a machine fit.
It was a machine fit.
And it sucked up and down by
And there
itself.
wasn't a wafer-thin piece of rubber.
Balloon.
It literally is the same rubber you'd expect to find in a balloon.
Sir, you have to have the wafer.
Is a wafer thin diaphragm.
Very, very good.
Fucking garbage because
All
those...
right, put it in.
They would rip like nobody's business. You looked at them the wrong way, they ripped. You try to take the carb apart to service it, and they would rip. Or because the gas would get in them, they would get deformed, and you could never put them back in right again.
Okay,
They'd always wrinkle.
I love how the jets have, I mean, if I'm not correct, or if the jets have the little holder.
Yep.
And they have to have the little rubber bung.
They have to have a
little
bung. Yep.
And then there's actually not just a pilot jet and a main jet. There's a third,
there is.
There's like 3 different jets.
That's
in
right.
them. Ugh.
And they're a nightmare to work on. And it's hard to find parts for them. So most of the time you can't find the parts you need to rebuild those carbs. You just got to try to find the one set of carbs that isn't all deteriorated and rat fucked out. So they also had a problem lubricating the top end. So with the CB350, you had a Slinger oil pump. And the Slinger oil pump, one of its weaknesses was a bike that didn't get ridden a hell of a lot would get clogged up. The Slinger oil pump would kind of get particulate matter in there. And the bike sat for a long time. The passageways that went from the bottom of the motor to the top, where you need all the lubrication, would get filled up, just like, clogged arteries, right? And the CB360 was notorious for this. So they had a lot of problems getting enough lubrication to the top end in the 360 motors. And 360, I'm having a head problem or a cam problem or a top end problem in a CB360 was a very common concern. And not rare at all for us to pull them apart and find the cams are just cooked and blue and shitty.
So this is why, when you're looking on, you're a guy who wants a vintage bike, and you're looking at all the Hondas and the 350s, and you're like, wow, they're like $4,000 for a nice bike. Yeah. And then you see the 360 pop up that's red with the nice stripes, and it's all fucking cool. Yeah. And it's like $1,800, 3,000 miles.
$600.
Yeah.
We had a phone call today from a guy, and I love it starts like this. Hey, I need to bring you in my 74 CB360. I'm going to have you put an electronic ignition on it. And I'm like, and? He goes, I heard on your podcast, they're like $200. And I'm like, yes, the electronic ignitions are rather inexpensive. But that's not going to solve your problem. How do you know? Well, then as I talk to the guy longer and longer, I find out this motor's been rebuilt 2 times.
Oh, wonderful.
So the first time he discovered the motor had a bad crank. He didn't discover it. The guy he paid money to fix it discovered it.
Right.
And the guy said, we got to find you another motor.
Oh.
So now this is 2 different motors. It's a Franken motor.
Yeah.
So now it's a Franken motor. And he's like, well, sometimes it'll run on both cylinders. And then sometimes it doesn't run on both cylinders. Yeah. And he's like, but I'm sure an electronic ignition will fix it.
Yeah. No.
Fuck you. That means you're going to bring it to me on the high hopes of $200 and 2 hours of labor, and your bike's going to be perfect. Meanwhile, what we're going to do is you're not going to tell us. It takes me an hour on the phone doing counseling with somebody to find out the real story and the forensics.
Why would he put a $13 coil in it to see if that's what the problem is?
And meanwhile, what I'm thinking is we've got a top end problem, and that when the bike's cold, it's running fine. But when the bike gets hot, it's not running fine because everything in your valve timing goes to shit, or you got a bad valve seat, or any one of the other 200 problems that could be happening with a valve guide or any other thing that's causing that bike.
I think as Honda went later on, or at least in those years, and I know with the CMs, the valve springs weren't as
robust.
as stiff as they were in the
No, they
Oregon
weren't.
bikes.
And those motors were just, I'll just say what it is. The CM series, not great. It was definitely a price point thing. It was just to make money. And God, man, you're right. Looking at those bikes is just like, fuck you, Honda. You know, Honda's had so many things where they hit it out of the park, and those things are just like boring. I mean, you talk about white bread. They are just
A
junk.
CM185, a CM200, herpetitis.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can't. There was like,
I dabbled, and it was not
I got a CM200. It's going to be great. No, it's not. You know how cheap that bike was? Cable operated front disc brake.
Yeah.
Who the fuck does a cable operated front disc brake? Can you not spring for a master cylinder? Jesus Christ. How cheap are you trying to be to have a cable actuated disc brake? Come on, man. Like,
There was
yeah.
a price point to meet.
Yeah, Honda was phoning it in. Like everything about that bike, those CMs were pretty bad. Yeah, they were, terrible. The CB200T, that's another one too, So, and then the CB500T is another fucking notch in the quiver of just garbage. A bike that wasn't right from the day it was new. They were just bad bikes. Those were the dark years for Honda, man. Yeah, it's too bad because they had a lot of great bikes. Well, good one, Steve. That's on the money. Yeah. Kromke, we know you love that R1200C, so yeah, you're all over that. I would like to give honorable mention to any of the victories from like the Victory 92s, like the early victories.
The square cylinders.
Oh my God.
Those were ugly.
My run up, and I can't believe nobody else mentioned it, was the Honda fucking Rune.
Oh, the Rune.
Yeah.
Well, the Rune is an exercise in like, let's just go for it.
But it's hideous.
It is hideous, and it has the rear fender. Emma mentioned this. There goes first gear, third gear. Yeah, that's it. Harry Palace goes shooting by.
Yep.
But Emma mentioned it. It has that rear angled rear fender.
Right.
So the Jesse James style fender that swoops all the way. So instead of stopping at the plane of the road, or stopping at the plane of vertical so that no water could possibly come out of it, it kept going until it was literally going to the concrete. And it followed the curve of the tire. And it sucked up like a dog trying to drag its ass on the carpet. And that's what they look like. When you see a Rune go down the road, you're like, oh, it's got some poop on its butthole. And it's just trying to wipe it off on the carpet. That style of fender looked good to some people for like 2 or 3 years. It always looked like shit to me. And I just never cared for it.
Didn't they have one after that, though? Didn't they make another Rune that looked semi-okay? It was almost like an F8. It was almost like the precursor to the F8s.
Oh, yeah?
But I thought they called that the Rune, too. But it was like they had that ugly one with that ugly fender, but then they went to one that was more like it looked like more like an F8, and then they went to the F8 and the Rune was gone.
The Rune was an exercise in, we have to make this look different.
Yeah, and they sure did.
We have to make this look good.
Yeah.
Right.
We had to do different things. It has to not look like other bikes.
But didn't it have like three, like the front forks had like three things going on?
Yeah, so the way the front fork works on a Rune is it's a leading link, trailing link front suspension. It has both happening at the same time.
So where is the actual spring?
The work, when you hit a bump on the front wheel of a Rune, these two shock absorber rods in the middle of it move up towards you somehow. It's the most ridiculous thing, but I'm sure it weighs a lot.
Yeah, I was going to say that bike has. What is the weight of a Rune? It has to be like 1,200 pounds or something, right? It's like
let's try and find out what the weight of a Honda Rune is, because it's going to be
probably
a
in
lot.
the 700-pound range.
It has to be. It has to be huge. It has to be like a lot of weight.
700.
Yeah,
Okay,
right.
here we go. 811 pounds.
And that's like without bags.
That's nothing. And Honda tends to weigh things dry with no battery in it. Right? So an NRX 1800 Rune legit weighs 811 fucking pounds.
So with fuel and everything in it, you're 900-pound bike.
Yeah,
Easy,
I mean,
all
and
day long.
that is interesting because that number is very close to my Harley Davidson with a 103 cubic inch motor with all the police shit.
Yeah, right.
So, a Road King police model and the Rune with nothing. The Rune naked.
Look at the carbonized Honda Rune.
The carbonized? Oh my
Yes.
God, I'm so scared.
So that has the windshield that you can't see through. And a
How about this? The front suspension is defined by Honda as being a trailing bottom link fork. Trailing bottom link. So yeah, that's
not a leading link, a trailing
a
link.
trailing bottom link.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
a Vespa.
Yeah, well, a trailing bottom link. So it is like a Vespa. It's the same design as a fucking Vespa.
So if you touch the front brake,
yes,
it will dive.
it will. And then there's probably 9,000 pounds of shock absorber or spring to keep that from happening. Yeah, it's just, oh man. But yes, the Rune is one of those things that.
And what's the value? What was the price when it was released, and what can you find a Rune for now?
So they are quite valuable
Really?
in so much as there are many people that collect them.
Really?
And it's a bike that went straight from being it's available, it's dying on the showroom floor, we can't sell them, we can't get rid of them, to, oh, they're collectible, right?
They're
And
beanie babies.
yeah, I think it is a Beanie Baby mentality, and that's exactly right. Yep. Yeah, so that's true. I did, and I did see a chopper version of a Rune. They got rid of that entire front end, and they put upside down forks on it.
Hey, how did the Bolt work out for Honda? Like the chopperish.
You mean the Fury?
The Fury? Well, who did the Bolt? Oh, that's Yamaha.
Yamaha did the Kawasaki Bolt.
Bolt. Okay.
Kawasaki Bolt.
But the Honda was what?
The Fury.
The Fury.
The Fury.
How did that work out?
I still laugh every time I see one.
The Rune with 6 into 6s on it looks good.
Yeah. It's
But the Fury was horrible too.
Would you guys like to hear this?
Yes.
The only downside is that repair costs are horrendous. Each Rune left the American Honda plant in Marysville, Ohio, costing the company over $100,000.
Wow.
And sold for just a quarter of that price.
Wow.
Ouch. Quote says, Honda has to get its money back somehow, and therefore repairing a Rune is never going to be a cheap exercise.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's frightening.
So if you find a $5,000 one, you're still looking at terrible.
Just don't ever break it.
Yeah.
So that's just my best advice on a Rune would be don't scratch it anywhere. Kirk Compton.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Kirk Compton, who is the owner of State 8, he has a large collection. Yeah, that's the one with 6 into 6 and a normal front fork. It's wicked looking, but it ain't a fucking Rune. No. It could be a gold wing. You could do the same thing with a gold wing. It is many things, that thing, but it is not a Rune.
Right.
But so Kirk has collected them for ages. So when I went into Kirk's warehouse one time in Cuyahoga Falls, I went in there and he had runes in the crates.
Oh.
So he had runes in the crates up to the ceilings.
Wow.
Yeah. So he had runes, and then he had runes in the crates.
So he's
runes
like,
in
fuck the
were
stock
stacked.
market. I'm putting all my money into runes.
And again, that's one of those things that if you'd have bought every GB 500 you could lay your hands on in 1992 when dealerships were trying to give them away and just sat on them, you'd be in great shape right now. You know?
Yep.
There are bikes that do that. But I have a couple of customers here. I have one customer that has well over 100,000 miles on a Rune.
Oh.
And he rides the piss out of it. But
that guy's cool.
He's cool, and he loves his Rune. And it does look like, there's a lot.
It's ruined him.
Well, it's ruined him. Well, there are a lot of plastic chrome pieces on a Rune.
Yeah.
And Honda's plastic chrome never ages well.
No.
It's plastic chrome, but it still pits. I don't know how they do that. So they've given it the worst properties of plastic and the worst properties of chrome.
It to be really like chrome.
Yeah, they're really like chrome. This is so authentic, it pits.
So wait, I think we discussed this a week ago, but I was trying to figure this out because it kind of messed with my head.
Yeah.
So is chrome the shiny part, or is it a clear that goes over shiny metal?
So chrome plating, and I'm really not the best person to ask about this, but I've paid for a lot of it.
Right.
It is a electrochemical process,
right,
where you are taking highly cleaned metal,
right,
passing an electric charge through it, and then putting it into a liquid solution that is metallic, floating in suspension. The liquid is usually acid. I can't remember.
I'm trying to think of a battery has what the acid is a catalyst.
Yeah,
so
right.
it's copper. So it actually starts out several different layers.
Copper, nickel.
So you start out with copper, copper is a soft coat.
So is it different tanks?
The
Do they
copper,
move it?
right? So
Yeah.
they plate it with copper first.
Yeah.
And that's meant to fill it in imperfections, and then you polish. So through each stage, you have to repolish it, and then nickel makes it silver, and then the final stage is chrome, and chrome is clear actually.
So it
And
is.
that's what gives it a diamond, a really hard surface.
So what is chrome? Is it
Chromium.
actual
It's
chromium?
literally chromium. So
Okay.
chromium is, it is an element.
Right.
Chromium is a type of steel.
So it's kind of like a hardcore electroplating wax,
Yeah, yeah. And
kind of, right? Like if
And
you would try to
It
describe
builds
it.
Not a way. I mean, it's
you
just like
electroplate it, you polish it. You electroplate
Yeah.
it with nickel, you polish it,
Okay.
and then you electroplate it with chrome, and you polish it.
So what if you don't if you don't polish the other stuff? It just becomes like bubbly,
not-
shitty
it's
chrome
not-
or
it's
something.
not
it
mirror-like.
oxidizes. The chrome prevents the oxidation of what's underneath it.
Okay. All right.
But even nickel, you could stop at nickel plating is
Yes,
very
you can.
nice.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
A nickel plate works out really well, but it's not as mirror-like and shiny as once you polish nickel and then put a clear coat of chrome on it. It is mirror-like.
Okay.
And chrome is very hard.
yes.
It's very resilient.
Right. That's why they always say that it takes a lot to suck the chrome off of a tow hitch.
Yes.
Yeah, and the biggest thing with chrome plating places is all of the chemicals involved in the process will kill you.
Caustic, yeah.
All of them.
Yeah.
So
There's cyanide involved in
yeah,
it
the
too.
EPA gets involved, and very few places are set up well enough to prove that they're taking care of that and not poisoning the people that live around there. And every chrome shop I've ever gone into has always been vat upon vat upon vat, air in the room you don't want to breathe. You walk in there and you're like,
Right.
ow, that hurts.
Right.
Okay. And then guys working there with no paperwork, guys that probably shouldn't be where they are, and or hey, it's the only job I could get.
Right.
And they're just constantly dipping parts. And a part, you'll get about a 1 mil coating in a vat, a 1 mil coating for every hour it's in the slurry, it's in the vat. So they leave it in there with an electrical charge on it for a given period of time.
So you have an anode and
Yep,
a cathode.
anode and a
Just like-
cathode,
It's a lot like a battery.
It is.
You're basically, your part is going to become the plate.
You're passing
Okay.
electricity through it, and the whole thing is,
Well, let me ask you this: if you were going to re-chrome something, what does the chromer expect you to deliver to them?
a clean piece, but they're going to clean it anyway.
Well, then here's the thing too. Now imagine you're going to take a piece that's already been chromed,
Right.
and the first thing they have to do is pickle it and put it in.
That wins the shittiest sounding motorcycle award. Seriously, that just sounds like a big elephant fart. Like, nothing about that sounds sexy.
I'd rather listen to a generator.
Yeah. The helicopter landing at the hospital sounds way better than that fucking horrible thing.
But the first thing you have to do is then, pickle it and get all the chrome and everything off and get it back down to the bare
So
metal.
what are you adding in the solution to do that? What removes
It's just
chrome?
acid. It's a strong acid bath.
Okay.
And I'm not sure exactly which type of acid, whether it's a muriatic acid or what. There's
Right.
various different types of acids. And acids, when they react, they produce hydrogen and salts and stuff like that. So there's all kinds of chemistry involved with it. Now, I think too. I wonder too if when they're burning off, when you're trying to get the chrome off, if they take it off in layers, because you have your positive net, you have an anode and cathode.
Right.
Do they reverse that when they pickle it to take the chrome off and try to
Oh yeah, like use the electricity against it or something.
unplate it? The
Right,
opposite of plating it. I don't know.
Interesting.
So here we go, guys. From a health standpoint, hexavalent chromium is the most toxic form of chromium in the U.S. The EPA regulates it heavily. The EPA lists hexavalent chromium as a hazardous air pollutant because it is a human carcinogen, a priority pollutant under the Clean Water Act, and a hazardous constituent under the Resources Conservation and Recovery Act. Due to its low cathodic efficiency and high solution viscosity, a toxic mist of water and hexavalent chromium is released from the bath. Wet scrubbers are used to control these emissions. The discharge from the wet scrubbers is treated to precipitate the chromium from the solution because it cannot remain in the wastewater. Boy, oh boy. Maintaining a bath surface tension of less than 35 dynes per centimeters requires a frequent cycle of the treating the bath with a wetting agent and confirming the effect on surface tension. I'm going to tell you, I've not seen any of that happening in any chrome shop I've ever been in. It is always just a bunch of hillbillies going, put it back in. That is it. And you know when you walk in there.
It ain't shiny enough, Phil. Well, what we got to do, man?
I have picked up shit from chromers where they were like, it's all done. And I held the part up my hand and went, dude, this is nickel.
Yeah.
Like you didn't finish.
Yeah.
Because they're all fucking meth heads. And they just like, I don't know, it's shiny. Like,
or they're chrome heads. They're just getting high off their
they're
fucking
handing me the
stash.
shit. And I'm like, they're like $300. And I'm like, it's not chrome yet. This looks like my uncle's 45. This is not chrome. You know? And they get all,
the triple hard chrome is, I
industrial.
believe, is they've triple chrome plated it.
Yeah. Yeah. It has nothing to do with the shininess. It has everything to do with the durability of it and the corrosion resistance.
So what do you think made people go? I mean, obviously it's shiny and humans like shiny things.
I know.
But what is comparable to chrome that's not shiny?
Carbon fiber.
No, but right. But
Italian chrome.
You could do all kinds of different
stainless steel, ceramic.
You could parkerize. You could tinnifer. You could. When you look in the gun world, there's all different types of diamond-like coatings that could go on, your surface metals.
Right.
The FT500 Ascot has black chrome on it. It's not silver chrome. Right. So somehow they put a black substrate underneath
black
the chrome.
oxide.
Black oxide and then chrome plated it.
Yep. My brother used to work in a black oxide factory where they black oxided tons of metal parts and
Guess what? Black oxide is very hard. It's that's why they use it in sandpaper and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yep. So but that's it. There's a lot of different ways you can keep metal from rusting.
Mm-hmm.
The weird thing is that chrome, which is ubiquitous in the motorcycle industry, is one of those things that really, it does a really good job of protecting metal from rusting.
Right.
It does a great job, but you have to stay on top of it.
Right.
And it does put up, I mean, we had a Moto Guzzi come in here that was like a 70s Moto Guzzi, early 70s bike. I don't think it had been washed in its life, 70-some thousand miles. And I put an hour into cleaning it up, and it looked fucking gorgeous. I mean, the pipes looked great. And
they have powder coats that are chrome powder coated, but it does not look
it doesn't look the same.
Right.
It does not look like the
powder coat is just like a glorified paint. Realistically,
well, it's electrostatically applied at a very high temperature. And
it's melted plastic.
Right, it's a coating of plastic.
Yeah,
right.
that's what it is.
And they do have powder coats now that will suffer 1,200 degrees.
I know a guy who does wood-fired plastic coating.
Really? Wood-fired?
Yeah.
Wow.
Janus.
Yeah, wood-fired powder coating.
That was one of the greatest.
Hilarious.
That was the funniest thing you've ever said, is to tell the guy, I want your Amish guys to create a completely chrome Janus.
Yes, exactly.
When you said that, I was like, that's totally not disrespectful and the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life.
What's wrong with a chrome Janus? I like all chrome bikes.
No, it'd be great, but how are the Amish going to do that?
With chrome plating.
The same way they do anything.
Chrome plating.
The same way they do everything. Shaking their head at the stupid English. The same way they do everything.
I just imagine some dude on a wooden bicycle pedaling.
Yep.
Trying to make the electricity.
The paint on his Amish buggy can't be black enough.
Right.
And he's going to make a chrome part for a 250cc Chinese powered bike for extraordinarily
high money.
I mean, for people who just really don't need it. I mean, it is just like, well, I don't know. Why shouldn't I put chrome on my side-by-side that goes in the mud and brings deers out of the woods? Why not put $10,000 worth of dress-up kit on it?
When Honda chrome plated everything. My Honda mower, chrome plating on the handle, chrome plating on the muffler guard.
Yeah, but
the Honda generators of the day had chrome on the chrome tube steel frame, chrome this, chrome that. Chrome
for you to put together, we're talking to this dude, everything's going great, and for you to put together that he's using Amish guys, and then to bring out well, I'd like to see a completely chrome bike was fucking awesome, dude.
I wonder who does their electronic ignitions. Yoder?
They're Mennonites.
They're all Mennonites. Yeah, Mennonites are pretty highfalutin.
Yeah.
They take the chrome off the bumpers in the station wagon.
By the way, has anybody here watched Breaking Amish?
No.
Get on Netflix and watch Breaking Amish.
Why do I have a feeling this is another fake program?
No, it's not, dude.
It's got to be fake.
No, it's not.
Is this where the guys are cutting each other's beards in the middle of the night?
No. Breaking Amish is when they go on Rumspringa, but they don't come back.
Oh.
And one girl becomes a New York City model. Yeah. And then another girl that had no chance.
That's already unbelievable.
No. This chick.
Your eyes have to be like more than like a half an inch apart.
Are you suggesting the Amish have a shallow gene pool?
No. Because here's the thing: she's the one that like they thought she had a unique look, so they brought her in.
Yeah.
But the other Amish girls like, well, I can be models too, and they went there and they're like, no, you can't.
You can't. No, you can't.
But it's amazing. It is. I don't even know how to describe it. Me and my wife don't like shows like that, but we were, well, I was high and she was drunk, and we found the fucking show, and now we can't stop.
Now you can't stop it?
Yeah. Like this dude went from being fucking Captain Yoder to having like eyebrow rings and banging everything.
Yeah,
like, it's fucking amazing.
We've been watching Love on the Spectrum, and that's people with either Asperger's or autism, and it's like a dating game, and so they're trying to hook up, and it's cute, but it's also like the brutal honesty of somebody with this person. How do you feel right now? I'm very uncomfortable and nervous, but I'm still here with you, so I will try to have fun.
I'm just gonna
the conversations, and it's just like,
I'm just gonna stay over in the sideshow where I'm comfortable.
You feel for him so much because he's like, I am looking for a woman. She will have 5 things. She will be honest. She will be affectionate. She will be loyal to me, and I will treat her like he's got it all worked out.
Yeah,
he's doing the right
and he will fucking nail all those points at all times, right?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Way into Comic-Con though.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Wow, man. Not for me. Yeah. And then I did want to give a parting, just a little thing for us. So, we talked about how Betty White has perished due to a timing chain going away.
Bum, 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 bum.
And so Betty White has been sitting over at Planges. I went and stripped everything out of her. I mean, she's gutted to the walls.
Blow up dolls, everything?
Everything.
Okay.
Yeah, everything. So, and she wasn't in service so long, so there wasn't as many fun things in it, right?
Jesus Christ. I thought Betty White actually died.
2020's been a hell of a year, Nick.
Shit, that's never going to happen, dude.
Christ.
Golden Girls are officially over.
No. The van formerly known as Betty White. Yeah.
Because there was Betty Black or Black Betty before
Black Betty
that.
before
right?
that. The previous van was Black Betty, and this was Betty White.
Bam-a-lam.
Right. And so
anything named Betty doesn't end well around here.
I'm telling you, man, we're gonna have to change our naming strategy. So so we've had this thing sitting over Palanges, and I did the mistake. I put it up on Facebook Marketplace. I wrote a beautiful ad, many pictures, gave a very clear description of what's going on. I have had, and now line 1 is timing chain failed, motor in-op must be towed away. Yeah. That's line number 1.
So if I bring coolant, can I drive it away, Phil?
No. Number 1 thing is, how well does it run? How does it run?
Do the brakes work?
It doesn't. Brakes are fantastic, Nick. They're brilliant. The brakes are the best thing in the van because I just paid for all of them. Yeah, they're fresh. They're brand fucking new. But here's the crazy thing is, I put in the ad $1,500, right?
Right.
I have had more people, ridiculous numbers of people, that have basically said, I'll give you $500 right now if you deliver it to Accurate. Now, here's a tip from your Unkie Phil. If you go online for vehicle salvage, there's not one, but probably 200 websites where you can enter in the year, make, and model of your shit, the VIN.
Right.
They'll ask you 15 questions about it, like, does it run? Are the fenders all there? Does it have 4 wheels? It's hilarious, the questions they ask. Because you can imagine people have to answer.
Scratches on the windshield?
People have to answer no to some of those, right? So I answered the ones that I answered completely accurately. They will come to the spot where the van is. They will pick it up and give me $565.
Right.
Okay. No, I mean, hands are clean.
Right.
Nothing. They just show up. They don't give a fuck, right?
You're like, this has this good, this good, this good. The body's good, this good, motor bad.
Yeah.
$565.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. And that's them making a hell of a profit.
Right.
So I throw it up at $1,500 figuring let the bidding commence.
Right.
And every time I've had people that are like, all right, I'll be there tomorrow. I'll give you $1,200.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, fair enough.
Do it.
Do it. They don't do it.
Nope.
No, they don't do it. They still, and I had a guy get there and bother Shane at his job. He's like, well, start it up. This is a guy that I told it doesn't fucking run.
Right. Motor broke.
Oh, I took the battery out of it. Do you know why? I don't even want you under the intent, like the implication that it could run or start. The battery's in the back of my other van. Okay. This guy showed up today and he's like, yeah, start it up. Are you fucking kidding me? So I'm convinced now that the level of people who ask questions on Facebook Marketplace, no. They all need to go to a Corona camp somewhere.
What you need to say is motor removed. And then when they show up, they're like, what's that?
There's a motor still in it.
Yeah, well, congratulations, but it's a boat anchor, so I don't consider it a motor.
Yeah.
So,
and I made it, so look here, it's for parts or motor rebuild only and all that good shit.
Right.
But so just letting you know, if you list something on Facebook, the more time you spend making the listing amazing is directly proportionate to the amount of frustration and psychosis you will have when the people contact you with insanely stupid questions.
Oh, yeah.
So I think it's better to just hit them at their own level and just be like, runs great, $6,000.
Right.
And then when they get there and they discover it doesn't run great and they offer you $1,500, you can be like,
well, I have
I'll
noticed, because I've sold a few things, a few ATVs and stuff on the thing.
Right.
I've noticed that is it available and will you take $200 guys are assholes and you can ignore them. But when you get a thing from somebody, and who knows, but like for at least my experience, when I got something where somebody put 5 minutes of thought into their question, like, hey, I've noticed your ad. My name's Tim. I'd like to come see your vehicle. If it's everything that you say it is, I will offer you this, and it's realistic. That guy's probably real. But is it available? Would you take 200? My mom had one. It's not worth what you're asking, and all that other bullshit. Those are the ones that you skip. You know, like it's just it was striking. I've had four people who have agreed to meet me at a certain time. This morning at 8:30, I was there. Like I was there showing this van to people that just didn't show up. Let me ask you this. So a guy who deals with people buying stuff from you all day long in a shop.
Right here,
How different is that from what you get at Facebook Marketplace?
It's pretty different. So it is pretty different because in here, we kind of understand that you're coming in and there's a certain, like some people put their shields up and they're trying to be like, oh, I'm going to protect myself in this environment and everything else. But, you know, when you have the expectation of a dead van, like I assure you, this van is dead. It's in beautiful, like the body works gorgeous.
You're selling a dog that's dead. You're like, this golden retriever is dead.
We are making no claims to anything other than I know I can get $565 for it if the guy shows up and tows it away. But what I can tell you is at the end of this adventure, I'm probably going to take $565 for it and have the guy tow it away because that's how fucking maddening Facebook Marketplace is. That I may, in fact, call one of those like nameless, faceless places on the internet who is literally just going to show up with a record, take it and part it out, you know, and that's it. And that's fine. But I did speak with one person who is too far away where the logistics are a problem. And the guy was like, yeah, I mean, I've rebuilt 5 or 6 of those motors. A good mechanic who knows what he's doing can have that thing running tip top for you for less than $2,000. And I'm like, what's it going to cost me to get this van to you? And then just give me $1,500, right?
Well, right now with plane flights costing $7, you should just fly them in. Like, send him 4 masks,
and he can live in the van.
Send him a scuba tank. Give him 5 hours of scuba air, and send the fucking guy over.
Just move into the van and fix it while he's there. There's, you know, it's already located at Palangi's. It's at Shane's shop, so that's good. You can get a part-time job working there.
Well, I was looking at that 4.6 motor today in a Crown Vic.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, yeah. Well, first of all, I was thinking like, oh, it's a pushrod motor. No, that is actually a dual overhead cam motor. So you've got two timing chains. And it's not just pull a timing cover off and change. Oh, no. Everything's got to come off the front of the motor. Now, my buddy says that the 2 halves can come off separately, and you can leave some of the accessories. You actually just take those covers off and leave the accessories and you can get in there. And it's still a whole boatload of bullshit, especially on a van. And then Shane brought up a good point that it's an interference motor, so you might have a duff valve, so that means like heads should probably come off. Man. You know, like, oh God.
Look, there's 1,000 YouTube videos on spark plugs that don't come out of these motors. I mean, there's literally, these motors are notorious for taking a spark plug and never giving it back. And that's not a good way to live. That's a bad way to live.
Did you like my comment? I watched a 13-minute video on how to rebuild this motor, so you should be able to do it in 20 minutes.
Exactly. No big deal. Fuck yeah, man. Bring it on.
So if you were a dude that was like, oh, I like that van a lot, and I'd like to put a crate motor in it, what are you looking at price-wise?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I have no idea.
$2,500 for a crate motor.
I've done crate motors in small block Chevys before that were $2,000 and they were amazing.
Right.
And I will never, ever, ever rebuild another one ever because of that. And the one company I worked with, Jasper, they sent me the crate motor. And I took the crate, and it had instructions on the outside of the crate, how to open the crate.
Yeah.
And then I opened the crate, took the crate motor out, put my old motor in the crate, and sent it back and got a $200 core for it.
That's awesome.
And I think the Jasper in my El Camino, I think that motor all told, like done. I think I spent about 9 hours doing the job correctly. Just, in there, just doing it as I would. In a 69 El Camino
with your Harbor Freight motor thing, and
I had a proper motor lift, and it wasn't that hard to do. But the best thing was the Jasper motor's like it comes with a fucking warranty.
Oh,
like that's insane to buy a rebuilt motor that had hardened valves and everything in it right from the factory. It was perfect, and it didn't lack for anything. It was absolutely right. It was on the money. What's up, man?
What's up?
What's going on?
We saw something interesting.
You had to stop, right? Yeah, we're recording a motorcycle podcast.
We have a guest.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah. So yes, we do this like every Thursday or Friday night.
Really?
We bullshit and drink beer and talk about motorcycles. Yeah.
We're in the right place.
Well, that's why exactly it. So that's
now
why
there's more motorcycles.
When we get a chance to, right? Exactly. When we get a chance to, we bring it outside, and we got the weather for it. And then you get the awesome audio of all these bikes going by.
The quarter mile here.
Yeah. And that's what this is. This is the Smedley's quarter mile. So we've seen more than one bike passing here today at over 100 miles per hour.
Oh, easy.
Yeah. So it's always on.
Including mine with both of you guys.
So that's why when we get the opportunity to, if we can record outside, we always do it. Yeah. It's always more fun. Yeah, it's cool. But yeah, we've been doing the podcast for, 9 years. So, and we just get together and talk about motorcycle shit.
And drink.
Best motorcycle mechanic in the city.
There you go. Fantastic. Where you work?
It's DC Moto.
Oh, very good. Excellent. You see, got to have more of that. Do you work on just V-twin or do you work on everything?
Super nice.
Everything?
Right now
cool. And what's the name of your shop?
DC Moto.
DC Moto. Fantastic.
DC
Where are you
Moto.
located?
North Ridgeville.
North Ridgeville. There you go. You just got to plug. 5,500 people just heard about that. Yeah. Yeah. That's.
I'm a detailer too. So
Oh, really?
I noticed you've got a very shiny bike.
Very good looking bike. That Fat Boy is looking very nice. Yeah. Yeah. That is a very, very shiny bike. Yeah.
you guys don't sell the Gucci's anymore.
No, we stopped carrying the Gucci's a couple of years ago. So just one of those supplier problems.
At all.
So, management. So yeah, so we don't carry them anymore. If they change their ways, we'll get them right back.
You guys all work now?
No, we're just kind of some people, various different walks of life. We're all motorcycle enthusiasts though. So we all ride a bunch of different shit.
It's being very nice to these guys.
Yeah.
I retired.
Yeah, he's retired, so yeah, that's it. Yeah. Oh, that's great, man.
So
That truck is doing laps. Yeah. That truck's definitely cruising. Yeah.
these guys.
Well, yeah, that's fantastic. So where's your detailing shop?
I'm in Parma right now.
You're in Parma? Do you just do bikes or cars too?
Just bikes.
Just bikes. So that's fantastic.
Very nice.
No, there isn't.
Do you
Too
have
much
any
surface
tips?
area.
Do you have any tips for us about what's the right thing to do and what's the wrong thing to do when you're detailing a bike? Are you with the dry method? Do you wash them first, or do you just go all dry?
You should definitely wash them first, dry them off, let them dry, and then just kind of like
So you have to wash the bikes first.
I have
and
my
then
question.
dry
My question is, how do you get boot rubber off a hot header?
razor blade.
Razor blade. All
Do
right.
that, actually.
Nice. That's a good one. Yeah.
That's a little bit.
Yeah. That's my biggest thing around here, because everybody puts straight pipes on their bikes and everybody leaves their boots on their pipes. So these people almost be walking around with boots that look like horseshoes, because every bike I work on just has big, thick rubber down the side of it. Yeah.
Just bend the razor in the same
Bend the razor.
pipe,
Slide it right down. Right on. Don't scratch it. Right. Yeah. Let the chrome do its job. Yeah. That's a good tip. That's fantastic. Because what I've been doing usually is I get the pipe hot and then use brass steel wool because the brass won't scratch chrome. But that's a pain in the ass. You got to get the bike hot first. Usually end up losing your fingerprints when that happens. So yeah, I like the razor blade trick a lot better. Much cooler. Oh, that's cool. So how do people get in touch if they want their bike detailed?
Just go through DC Moto.
Go through DC Moto. All right, good to know.
Facebook, it's DC Moto Bike.
DC Moto Mike? Bike. Okay, DC Moto Bike.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah, people do listen to this podcast. People show up all the time with, kicking around. Yeah, it's fun. It's that's all we do. That is exactly it. And we do it once a week and like clockwork, man. It's something like we started in the garage building bikes and had the microphone going. And then it just like, okay, well, we can do a little better. And the people who listened to it didn't like the audio quality of us smoking and spilling beers and shit. So we got proper gear, and Steve came in and brought us a mixing board, and we actually sound like we know what we're fucking doing. So that's most of the work right there, is fooling people into thinking you know what's up. So yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. Good times. Well, cool. That's it. We're wrapping up. So maybe
I had a show and tell item. Do you want to do that? Or do you
bring out your show and tell item.
Yeah.
Bring it up.
Okay, so this is going to take a little bit.
Is this a video or an audio show and tell item?
Well, if you're going to do it, do it in front of the camera, though, so we can see whatever you're doing.
Wait. There's fire involved.
Uh-oh.
Okay, I'm in.
Oh,
There's fire
Johnny
involved.
Mac. Johnny Mac's got fire.
Holy shit, look at that.
What is this?
Did you steal that
What is
from
this thing?
Jesus' welder?
Wait, tell us what it is.
I thought that was yours, Phil.
This whole blowtorch off of
A blowtorch.
Look at that. That's
Look
a
at that.
proper cooker right there.
Look at that.
It's been a little while.
My
You could
God.
roast a marshmallow or two with that motherfucker
This
right
is
there.
probably so this is white gasoline.
That's white gas, yep. Yeah.
This actually would just, back in the day, they just used gasoline.
Whatever you had.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Used it
Right
for
on.
anything.
Yeah.
That takes a little bit. I didn't have a chance to fill it up.
Okay. All right.
I brought this for Rand. Rand was talking about his cares. He was having a Coleman fetish going
Yes,
on.
he was.
Oh,
He was very much into the Colemans.
What you have there is
That's
pretty
your
much
pump.
The pump.
That's
you
the
know,
pump,
it has a
right?
leather
Pressurize
gasket
the
in it
chain.
and everything like that.
Yeah.
So now the process here, and I don't know if we can get all
And so
this
that's
on
got a
camera.
leather gasket in the pump instead of a rubber thing that would dissolve or fade away. It's got a leather gasket.
And I have the proper rusty old can.
It is a rusty can.
Yeah, that can looks like
proper.
it came with your shit.
You don't want to do that. This guy's got
I like that. He's like that. This could go fucking wrong real quick.
Yeah, he's moving his shiny bike away.
I like the way he's like, they're
He's like,
building
I'm
a
gonna
bomb
back
over
up
there.
a little bit. That's what we're doing. Yeah.
Oh, I've never seen these two guys back away so fast.
So first you dump gas.
With the 1921 blowtorch, I'm backing off.
Oh
Dump
man.
gas all over the place.
So make sure to get the white gas everywhere.
That's okay,
Right.
because you have to fill the drip pan full of gas
Oh.
so you can light the whole thing on fire.
Oh,
Wait.
okay.
So the drip pan
You have
is
to
like
heat
the
it up.
pan on an old flintlock.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So
All
you
right.
might want to make sure this is on kind of tight because
Yeah.
well, you don't want fire to get into the.
We don't want fire to get into the pressurized chamber.
Do we have a way to put him out?
I do have a fire extinguisher.
Okay.
Right.
Grab my
Get
get the fucking video going.
Right. That'll
Come
be the
on.
first thing. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. He's pumping the shit out of it. All right.
There it is.
All right. There
Can
you
you
go.
send me that?
You gotta get that
All right.
leather gasket a little bit wet.
The leather gasket has to get wet enough it swells up.
Yep.
Right. Okay.
So some slow pump. You're just gonna get.
All right.
He's
I
like
would say
he's finger banging this thing slowly.
All right, so-
he's
at
like
least 20 to 30 good pumps.
Okay. All right.
You gotta pressurize it, and especially since
Is this according to the manual that was chiseled in stone? Yeah.
I actually did some good research and looked these up. And
Yeah. Okay.
okay, so
Okay.
John is
I feel like
masturbating
building
this
some
thing.
pressure.
No, there's definitely building some pressure. I can sense it.
Well, you take and pour some gasoline all over it.
Oh, wait a second.
Wait a minute. What are you doing?
Okay. All right.
You have
All
to
right.
fill up the cup.
You got to fill the cup.
There's We have video of this. I will be posting. Nick's going to send the video of this, and I will post it on this. So,
Last time we saw John with his eyebrows.
So now you loosely put the lid on the can and set it next to it.
No, you put the can fucking far away. Daniel, grab that can and take it away from John.
Now you want to put this down and screw it down.
Okay. This thing, the technical term.
Have you lit this before?
Put the thing. Oh, he's clearly done it before.
This is the first time I've lit it since I soldered it back together. I don't know what's gonna happen.
That's okay. The JB weld will hold just fine.
Yeah, you're fine.
Right.
You light it on fire.
You light it on
and you run away.
Oh, it's on fire.
Yeah,
There's fire. All right.
Check, you got that.
It's vaporizing.
It is
fuel.
technically on fire. All right.
So it just burns.
It's still on fire.
So now you have a pressure vessel on fire.
I was going to say, I've done the math on this.
There's like a tube that actually acts as a catalyst that has to be heated up before it burn properly, right?
So if you turn it on a little early, you get a little flamethrower thing.
So wait, is this like the actual procedure to light this thing on fire?
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
All right.
There is. You literally have to
I have
light
complete confidence in you.
it. Let's try it out a little bit. We turn it on. It'll just probably shoot a liquid thing of flame.
Yeah, it's probably just going to shoot a jet of flame to right where their motorcycles used to be.
Oh God. I'm a little nervous there. Oh, the front's on fire. Oh, there we go.
All right. Oh, it smells great.
There it goes.
There it goes.
Wow. Oh, I can hear it.
Can you blow out the back end of it now?
No, it's not the pilot light.
It'll go out on its own eventually.
Yeah, okay, all right. That is blowtorching.
Not yet.
So what is the point of this thing?
It's a blowtorch.
If you get a piece of metal, I can hurt it like cherry red.
Right,
quick.
yeah.
Okay.
The blue part of the flame.
So it's like old school map gas, right? Like something like that?
No, maps higher.
Yeah, that's way hotter, yeah. Oh, there you go. Yeah, it's definitely doing its job. All right.
You can hear this. You can
It might
hear.
be pumped up more, but that's the one thing they tell you never to do.
It's over pump it.
Don't pump it while it's
Don't
lit.
pump it while it's going. Yeah. Because when you stroke on the pumper, you're going to bring fuel out, right?
Well, the pumper's probably halfway to red hot by now, too.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough.
I've got a lot of fuel in the pan.
And you're literally meant to hold this in your hand.
Yeah, right. Like you're supposed to hold this thing?
I wouldn't recommend it.
Oh, that's not good. Oh, God. John's on fire.
Yeah.
He's on fire.
All right.
Please don't burn to death. Oh, there it is. Yeah, well done. Well
We're
done.
gonna get a screwdriver or something. We'll make it cherry red.
Oh, I don't doubt we'll make it cherry red. Jesus Christ. It's obviously...
Can you weld my mirror back together?
No.
Very nice. Uh-oh. Little flame going. There it is.
It leaks.
Oh, there it
A
goes.
little bit of leakage. All right, so we'll do a sacrificial Chinese Phillips head.
It's not quite as hot as it normally is. If you pump it up more, there's a lot of
It's really, I mean,
This is interesting.
temperature-wise, it's right there.
Nick is filming this on his phone, so hopefully I will have this overlaid upon this. But basically,
I'm wondering
John
if
is
this
trying to
one
burn
the flame
Phil's
profile's better out here, or is the flame profile better?
Chinese
it's better in there.
fire.
Yeah, it's definitely converting much better.
What is that
blue
thing?
than it is
Screwdriver.
back there.
Your cherry red.
Oh yeah.
So they're burning a screwdriver,
Found that out.
and our new friends are completely amazed with
You got,
what's
like,
going
lug
on
nuts
right
and
now.
shit you gotta take off.
Anybody got any open sores? You got any moles you need burned off real quick? Anything might be a carcinoma? You got a herpes. I'll take care of a herpes real quick.
And on that much fuel, this thing will burn for like forever.
That is...
Hey, check his wax job. See if that fucking thing is all waxed up.
You got that ceramic on you.
Pull out Nick's dent.
Yeah, see if you can pull the dent out.
No, guys.
You know what I wanted to
I'm
try
not
to do
putting the
was
fire extinguisher away. I'm just putting it down.
Oh, you gotta burn a little beer?
Hold on.
You gonna open a beer with fire?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, here we go.
No, it's just a beer bottle. It's going to melt it down. Oh, give me
Wow.
that. That is...
Oh, it's red hot in like 2 seconds, man.
That, shit. That took no time at all.
Wow, that's impressive.
I haven't tried melting a bottle yet.
Well, you'll find out. Yeah. So John has put a beer bottle in the way of the blowtorch that he has created over here.
Well, that's brilliant. I mean, that thing is working. Scoop him is free.
And how old is this, John? What year was this thing made?
I mean, they started making these in the 1800s, I think, and then now what it has, this was meant for like soldering and brazing with lead.
Okay.
So you'll notice they all should have a little ring here, which is hot as fuck. But what that's meant to is you have an andiron, which is a big copper block. And you set it there and you let that copper block get blazing hot. And then you can take that copper block over and you can use it for tinning and stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah, you can walk the solder right into wherever you got to go.
But can you light a cigarette? You just lit your cigarette with a lighter and you have a fucking blowtorch right there.
Would you put your face anywhere near that?
No, but he would.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Come on, man.
Come on, up to the side.
I don't know if it's going to melt the bottom. That's not as violent as it can be. Like if it gets
I would say right now it's running pretty nice. I mean, it's
so consistent. I didn't expect it.
You can see the glass.
That was a $15
glowing red on this
pickup
side of
Marketplace.
wow, that was nice.
But I had to solder the bottom of it and had seam let go and I soldered it.
So you did lightly restore it?
Yeah, lightly.
So how old is the gas that you put in it? That looks like it's 100 years old.
I pick them up. I always buy a old Coleman fuel. I grab it anytime I can.
You can go to the Lakewood dump and they got tons of those.
That might be where that came from.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's not new fuel, right? It's like old fuel.
It's super old.
Yeah.
White
But
gas.
it doesn't go bad, really.
White gas stays forever.
So what if you run white gas on our bikes?
You can't.
Yeah, actually, you probably could. I mean, it is actually gas.
It'll run, but
It's more gas than kerosene.
the problem is that it is not going to run at the right temperature.
Ah, okay. All right.
Right, and it probably doesn't have any anti-knock characteristic.
Right. I think that bottle's getting pretty cherry red.
It is, for sure.
Why don't you put it up to your lips and give it a taste?
Starting to tip to the away from the flame a little bit.
It might be.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Oh, this is
I gotta
interesting.
say, it's working remarkably well.
Yeah, I did not expect this. I thought you were going to be on fire.
This has place
For
in the modern
19th
work
century
in the modern
technology.
shop. If you need a lot of heat,
I mean, okay, I've been
a lot of
using it.
intense heat, like on a lug nut or something like that you want to just really,
Yeah, but I mean, I've been
something
using
to it.
Burnzomatic since I was a little kid, and the Burnzomatic is just a much more modern version of
Right.
this. So.
Burnzomatic doesn't got nothing on that
No,
as
it
far as
doesn't.
heat.
No, as far as heat goes, you're right. Yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, we have an education on fire right
There you
now.
go. That's really cool. Yeah, that's neat.
Oh, there we go. Oh, yeah. Look at that.
Wow. That's
Ah.
it. Game on. So, well done.
Oh, he's going full bar. Oh, there it is.
We'll let that
Yeah,
continue.
well
Good
done,
job,
well
John.
done, John,
Thank you
well
very
done.
much.
Yeah.
That was totally a valuable show and tell.
That was good. And Nick filmed the whole thing, so we have video of that.
All right. Well, that
Next
was
week,
it, so.
John's going to bring leeches.
Next week we're all going to get leeches. It's going to be great.
Can we top that? I don't.
No,
think
I
we can
don't. I
top
mean,
that.
that's pretty great. That's
And
fantastic.
we got video, so I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Nick's gonna send me the video, and I will have that on top of all our rambles.
I think what I'll do is in my house I have a Model A.
Take it easy, guys. Have a good
We'll see you
night.
guys.
Later,
Cheers,
man.
man.
Be safe.
Yeah. So at home I've got a coil, an ignition coil from a Model A Ford,
Okay.
and it's wooden. It is. It's made of wood.
Right.
So we'll see if I can bring it in if we can get it to fire.
You're also made of wood?
There it is.
Sorry.
A witch.
Later, guys.
See you guys.
Later, man.
So it seems like that's probably the guy you want to know if you need a Harley Davidson motor rebuilt. There you go. There it is. Quarter mile is officially open.
I like
Yeah.
how the mechanics bike's not quite as loud.
No, but
No,
the
he's got
Honda
the,
Shadow is pretty cool, though. The other guy's riding.
But I mean, he's
There it is.
there you go.
There it is.
That was from DC Motorbike.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So DC Motorbike, In North Ridgeville, right? Is that what he said?
Yeah, I think so. In Parma. One's
okay.
Parma, one's North Ridgeville. I think one guy's the detailer, one guy's the mechanic.
Yeah, the one guy's the detailer, the other guy's...
So mechanic, North Ridgeville, detailer, Parma.
Okay, there you go. DC motorbike.
And they had matching flames.
They did have a lot of flames on their bikes.
Yeah,
so it was
which is cool. It's
very
cool.
clean. Yeah, that was... That guy, you can tell the guy's a detailer. That bike was ridiculously clean.
I mean, they were cool guys.
I mean, look, they stopped by, they bullshitted, and it's biker guys doing biker shit.
And you know what was really cool?
Yeah.
So you know how like helmets had Dot and Snell?
Yes.
But now they have the new FIM and the new rating for like the rotational force.
Yes, exactly.
His
So the MIPS,
his headband had the new fucking...
it was MIPS.
It was MIPS.
He had a MIPS system in his headband.
He did.
Nice.
It was fucking great, man.
You checked it out.
I did. I was looking.
Yeah.
It had the tag on the back. That's a brand new headband. It was fucking amazing, man. Fucking perfect.
Those MIPS headbands are all the rage now, man.
That's what I've heard.
You definitely don't want to cruise Main Street unless you got a MIPS headband.
Dot and Snell headbands are so fucking...
They're so last year. That's exactly it. It was a 3DO. It had a 3DO shell and a MIPS liner. It's perfect. Big skull on it. It's good to go.
It only weighed 113 ounces.
It was exactly it. Nothing but prison dicks all the way. Oh my god! All right, again, anything else? I think we should. We can't top that.
No,
that's pretty great, man.
We had a fucking amazing guest last week.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what you call this.
No, this is all over the place. But this is the closest thing we're going to get to literally hanging out, doing dumb shit.
I think, you know what, this more than even mini Mid-Ohio.
Yeah.
Today was a pretty good Mid-Ohio day.
It was a good
We broke shit. We destroyed a new car. We like John Byrne stuff.
Yeah.
This is about as Mid-Ohio as we can
we
get.
had a 100-year-old blowtorch. I mean, that's cool. That's great. I mean, that
you
means,
melted glass. You made sand, man.
Making art, but but that is cool. I mean, that's better than some guy farting on a lighter. That's way cooler. You know
Not
what?
that we haven't all done that.
Okay, but I will also say that you guys have known me for quite a while. You know that I did go get the fire extinguisher.
Yes, you did. You did.
So I went and got the fire extinguisher because I'm older now.
Can I tell you, in high school...
Please put me out.
I would definitely put you out.
I know this guy's not listening, so this guy's name is Brian Westfall, and we were hanging out. It was 10th grade, and we're in underwear, going to bed, we're sleeping over.
Okay.
And he did the whole light the fart on fire.
Blue flame.
And he had 3 weeks of cream in his ass after that. It went fucking in and just... so
All in his bunghole.
Oh, yeah. He soiled it.
It's like that didn't fucking seal shut.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Well, no, I don't think...
Cauterized his butthole.
He did not understand the force that he was about to unleash. He thought it was going to be a little...
You know what happens, though? You know what? With anything, you blow out, some comes back in, right?
You should have clenched.
I'll bet you clenched after that took a bite out of his ass. I bet you clenched real good.
And on that note...
That's it. All right, guys. That's all I got. Ride fast and take chances.
Press
the red green button.
God damn it, it's the green button.
Keep your stick on the...